The echo of that wrenching pain still lingers in his chest, a phantom ache where the promise of the heavenly mechanism pavilion once burned. The threshold is crossed, the path irrevocably locked. Witness the opening, stay for what unfolds. Jiang Fan felt a wrenching pain in his chest. Because she worried about my safety, Liu Qingxian didn't even care about her own life. Later, we encountered disciples from various sects returning with casualties. Upon learning about the heavy casualties at Boundary Mountain, she could barely stand. Knowing you were safe and sound, she knelt on the ground in joy, praying to the gods. But then you ran off to the demon race's territory with your life and death unknown, plunging her into hell. Clinging to a last shred of hope, she barely managed to make it to Boundary Mountain. At this point, Nangong Xiaoyan felt indignant on behalf of Liu Qingxian. She glared at Jiang Fan resentfully. Such a good girl, and you nearly tortured her to death. If you hadn't been alive, the remaining half of her life would have gone with you. In this lifetime, having a girl who loves you so deeply, you'd better cherish her. No one will ever care for you more than she does. HMPH? She was never interested in romance, because she had seen too much false affection. But Liu Qingxian's journey, filled with ups and downs, joy and sorrow, selfless dedication, made her realize there truly were people with such deep feelings in the world. As a woman, even Nangong Xiaoyan couldn't help but envy Jiang Fan. To have such a wife, what more could a husband ask for? Jiang Fan's heart trembled. It was then he understood what Liu Qingxian had been through these past days. It was then he understood what she meant by one moment in heaven, another in hell. Qingxian? Jiang Fan said in a trembling voice, pulling her tightly into his embrace. Liu Qingxian had no strength to beat him anymore. She collapsed in his arms, wailing loudly. Why are you in my heart? Get out, don't make me act like a madwoman, don't let me look so pathetic. She used to be. A girl who was both radiant and proud, free and unrestrained. Just because Jiang Fan's shadow was in her heart, she became like this. Jiang Fan's heart ached faintly as he said, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. He never feared the hardships of the world, only dreaded failing someone so deeply in love with him. Liu Qingxian wept for a long time. When she finally stopped, she had fallen asleep in his arms. Nangong Xiaoyan said, she hasn't slept in the past few days. Let her rest for a while. Jiang Fan carefully laid her down, hoping she'd sleep for a bit. But he found that both her hands were tightly clutching his clothes. Fearing that if she opened her eyes, Jiang Fan would disappear like a dream. Jiang Fan's face was full of tenderness. He sat down against the wall of the Great Wall, holding her as she slept. Looking at her haggard face, his heart was filled with guilt. When she wakes up, come to the peak of Boundary Mountain immediately. The Human Clan Command Center has been moved to Boundary Mountain. Strong practitioners from Sunset City are gradually coming here. Supreme Elders, Sect Masters, and Elders from various sects will also arrive one after another. We are going to have a decisive battle with the demon race here. Only then did Jiang Fan come to his senses. He looked puzzled. Why did you all get here so fast? By my calculation, the 2 disciples delivering the battle report should have just arrived at Sunset City. It would take at least 7 days for you to get here. No matter how he calculated, the timeline didn't match. Nangong Xiaoyan rubbed her chin and asked, Do you know Senior Sister Wu Manyu? Jiang Fan said. Of course I know her. Why? Nangong Xiaoyan said. It's because Senior Sister Wu used several extravagant space secret treasures. That shrank a 7-day journey into half a day. Even Vice Pavilion Master Yi, that rigid person, was shocked and gaped at her heavy expenditure. Space secret treasures are such expensive life-saving items, yet she used them to deliver intelligence. There probably isn't another person in the world who would be so willing to spend them like that. Jiang Fan's eyes displayed confusion. Wu Manyu, that selfish and cunning, sinister woman, she exhausted a pile of life-saving magical treasures just to deliver intelligence. Selfless dedication, is that something she could do? Nangong Xiaoyan said, Don't underestimate Senior Sister Wu. Although her reputation isn't great in the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, and she doesn't have many friends, most rumors about her are about her being selfish and unscrupulous. But when it comes to important matters, she has never been ambiguous. Was that so? Jiang Fan gained a new understanding of this viper-hearted woman. At least she isn't beyond redemption, Jiang Fan nodded and said. Nangong Xiaoyan looked at Jiang Fan with a peculiar expression and said, What is your relationship with Senior Sister Wu? Jiang Fan's gaze wandered and he calmly said without blushing, Our relationship is very good. We are old acquaintances. Nangong Xiaoyan looked puzzled. Really? Then why did Vice Pavilion Master Yi award her a medal of great merit? She refused to accept a move from an Earth-level intermediate cultivation technique, but instead insisted on naming you as her servant for a day. Damn it. To be her servant, clearly she wanted to torment him, right? This vicious woman couldn't really look at her in a different light. Jiang Fan nervously asked, "Did Vice Pavilion Master Yi agree?" Nangong Xiaoan shook her head. Of course not, such an impudent request. Vice Pavilion Master Yi wouldn't agree. So, Senior Sister Wu asked for another reward, to be your superior officer. Vice Pavilion Master Yi agreed and granted her the position of captain of a special task force. She named you as the first member on the team list. Snap. Jiang Fan slapped his forehead. This was Wu Manyu's real demand. Intentionally made an excessive request for Vice Pavilion Master Yi to reject, so that Vice Pavilion Master Yi would feel the need to compensate. Thus, when she made a somewhat troubling request, Vice Pavilion Master Yi wouldn't forcefully reject it. This vile woman, even her hair harbored schemes. As his superior officer, she definitely harbored ill intentions. Is she also coming to Boundary Mountain? Jiang Fan thought of running away. Nangong Xiaoyan shook her head. Not yet. However, the special task force has already received its mission. She should arrive at Boundary Mountain soon and gather the team members. Prepare yourself mentally. Even she could see that Wu Manyu and Jiang Fan didn't get along. Thinking of Wu Manyu's many tactics, Nangong Xiaoyan couldn't help but worry for Jiang Fan. By then, Jiang Fan would better not be made a fool by Wu Manyu. Mission? Jiang Fan's face showed a thoughtful expression. What kind of mission required a core formation, fifth layer, heavenly mechanism, pavilion disciple to lead? Such high-level missions usually involved elders, didn't they? Shaking his head, he steadied his mind and said, "Thank you, Senior Sister Nangong, for informing me. I will be on guard against her. This woman better not mess with him. Otherwise, who knew who would suffer by then?" Dong, dong, dong. At that moment, the sound of gongs rang out. Nangong Xiaoyan's eyes lit up and she said, "The merit list is going to be announced again. There will be some excitement." The battle at Boundary Mountain was so fierce and disciples from various sects showcased their divine skills. Whose merit is highest, it is really uncertain. You want to be number one again, it won't be easy. Nangong Xiaoyan had just arrived at Boundary Mountain. She had only heard that the battle was brutal but had no idea of the specifics. Therefore, she was unaware of Jiang Fan's achievements. She simply instinctively felt that for a mere 200 defenders to win a world-shaking battle, the disciples and elders of the sects must have displayed extraordinary combat prowess. Otherwise, victory would have been highly unlikely. Jiang Fan's eyes lit up. He had been coveting those 3 nascent soul one-strike jade tokens for a long time. If they had these 3 jade tokens in the fight at Boundary Mountain, victory would have been secured early on. Their power was comparable to that world-changing tribulation thunder. He made a quick calculation. In the giant sect's holy land, at Skybreaking Canyon and Boundary Mountain, Jiang Fan had obtained over 100 Beast King Demon cores. From battling the Demon Beast forces, he captured another 200 Beast King Demon cores. Altogether, there were a total of 300. According to the conversion of 5 Beast King Demon cores equaling 1 level 1 mission or 100 merit points. That would add up to a total of 6,000 merit points. Exchanging for 3 nascent soul one-strike jade tokens was more than sufficient. Moreover, the merit from the battle at Boundary Mountain was yet to be settled. The items he could redeem this time were truly abundant. "All right, you go first, and I'll come later," Jiang Fan said. After all, before the merit board was issued, it would take quite a while to gather all the disciples. Nangong Xiaoyan nodded. "Then make sure to come quickly. Many people weren't convinced by your top rank last time, you know. They're all eagerly waiting to see you fall from grace this time, so they can comfortably say, 'This guy finally showed his true colors.'" Snickering mischievously, she skipped away, her light steps bounding cheerfully. Jiang Fan touched his nose, muttering, "Are there still people like that now?" Having fought so many battles one after another, unless all 9 sect disciples were blind, they should have some understanding of his true power by now. Who would still dare to underestimate him so easily? Gazing at the person slumbering softly in his embrace, Jiang Fan leaned against the city wall, careful not to disturb her. He didn't waste time either. He secretly began cultivating the technique, Cloud Shadow, from the Thunder Extension Order. Last time, he had practiced hastily and only cultivated halfway through. Yet he still managed to master the 50 Zhang instantaneous movement technique. It had played a critical role in seizing the Demon Moon White Bone hairpin. How could he possibly leave out such a divine ability? He closed his eyes and concentrated on cultivation. Several 2-hour periods passed. Electric currents surged, and thunder snakes roamed within his body. If he wished, within 100 Jiang range, he could instantly transform into a thunderbolt and arrive in an instant. Whether for killing enemies, snatching treasures, or making a swift escape, it was a skill that bordered on divine. "The first layer is perfected," he murmured. "If the second layer is perfected, it would enable instantaneous movement within 1,000 Jiang range, a truly heaven-defying ability. Alas, with my current level of thunder and lightning power, sustaining such a long-range leap is far beyond my capability." Jiang Fan felt a pang of regret. Obtaining even a small portion of power from the heavenly thunder stone, and successfully cultivating the second layer of 3 pure thunder shadow. To unleash the 5 thunder true heaven palm was already extremely lucky. Wanting to acquire more thunder and lightning power again, could it really be so easily achievable? Suddenly, Liu Qingxian awoke abruptly. She had a nightmare. In her dream, Jiang Fan's face was half ruined, his body drenched in blood, and he waved goodbye to her with a smile. Fortunately, when she opened her eyes, what greeted her was Jiang Fan's warm and affectionate expression. This allowed her tightly wounded heart to finally relax. So it was just a dream. She sat up but remained nestled in Jiang Fan's arms, unwilling to leave. Recalling how she had lightly punched his chest before falling asleep, she reached out her snow-white fingers and gently massaged the area. "Does it still hurt?" Liu Qingxian quietly asked near his ear. Jiang Fan caught her hand gently and shook his head slightly, saying, "It hurts, but not as much as my heart does." Knowing what Liu Qingxian had endured, his heart felt as though it had been pierced by a sword. Sharp blades were mighty, treasured swords were deadly, but none could wound the heart like love. Liu Qingxian's eyes grew moist. She felt her deep feelings had not been betrayed. Meeting his deep, tender gaze, she slightly raised her snowy neck. Her dry, pale lips pressed softly against Jiang Fan's cheek. Jiang Fan's body slightly trembled. This time he did not resist. Pulling her close, he surrendered to the moment. As the two became increasingly lost in each other, their breaths quickening, "Junior brother Jiang," a frantic cry echoed from afar, growing closer. The sudden interruption startled the pair, making both of them flinch. Liu Qingxian hastily scrambled out of Jiang Fan's arms, hurriedly adjusting her disheveled collar. She wiped away the marks at the corner of her lips. When they looked toward the source of the voice, amid the winds and snow, Liang Feiyan came running anxiously toward them. "Junior brother Jiang, so you were hiding here." Oh, him. He really knows how to pick his moments. Jiang Fan instantly felt annoyed, his expression cold. "What do you need from me?" Liang Feiyan felt baffled by Jiang Fan's icy demeanor. What did I do to offend him? Only then did he notice Liu Qingxian beside him, gazing at him with displeasure. Moreover, her collar looked slightly messy, and her lips were still faintly moist. That's when Liang Feiyan understood he had interrupted their moment. Damn it! No wonder no one else wanted to come. Everyone shoved it onto me. Son of a... Liang Feiyan cursed inwardly. Everyone had been waiting for Jiang Fan, and Vice Pavilion Master Yi had asked Nangong Xiaolan to invite him. Nangong Xiaolan delegated the task to Xia Keoj. Xia Keoj passed it to Ouyang Jun pushed it to Zai Liushu. Zai Liushu then dumped it on him. Turns out this bunch already guessed that Jiang Fan and Liu Qingxian were spending time together. It was even possible they were wrapped up in some steamy affair. Suddenly barging in might disrupt the couple and earn their ire, hence everyone opted out. Only he, obliviously, had come running over. Naturally, he received the cold shoulder. Junior brother Jiang, the merit board is about to be announced. Vice Pavilion Master Yi and the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion staff are asking for you, Liang Feiyan said quickly, without meeting either gaze. Jiang Fan nodded, grabbed Liu Qingxian by the hand, and moved to leave. As he passed Liang Feiyan, he said with evident annoyance, "Senior brother Liang, don't focus so much on cultivation. Take some time to find yourself a senior or junior sister, share some love, exchange some feelings. Always being alone, how pitiful." With that, he left, leaving the dumbfounded Liang Feiyan behind. It took a long moment for Liang Feiyan to snap back to his senses. Anger churned in his gut. Not only had I faced their chilly attitudes, but I was also lectured. Just women, huh? Do you think I, Liang Feiyan, couldn't easily win over a proud daughter known across all 9 sects? The 9 sects' #1 beauty, Liu Qingxian, She doesn't count. Spirit Beast sect's senior sister Yi Liangxing, she doesn't count either. Supreme sect's top proud daughter Xia Ke, she definitely doesn't count. Desire sect's famous Jai Ryu junior sister, all right. She doesn't count either. Then surely our myriad sword sect junior sister Qin will do. Her looks are surely impressive. Damn it! By the end of his mental tally, Liang Feiyan's eyes bulged as he let out a curse. All the prominent proud daughters of the nine sects, it turned out every single one had some connection to Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan, you son of a... I'm reporting you to the authorities. Mountain, it was crowded. Not a very large mountain, and it was packed with people from various sects. Because there were so many people, the summit couldn't hold them all. Many disciples were forced to stand on the slopes. With the arrival of Jiang Fan, the crowded and chaotic people, like discovering a new continent, all cast curious glances at Jiang Fan. Is this the famed junior brother Jiang Fan? He's truly impressive, the #1 on the previous merit list, and I heard he achieved great feats in this Boundary Mountain battle. Rumor has it he's only 18 years old. It's actually true. I can't believe he's still a new disciple who joined the sect just half a year ago. Male disciples from various sects looked at Jiang Fan with considerable admiration. The deacons and elders also cast curious looks his way. My disciples said it was this young man who controlled the heavenly thunder and turned the tide of battle. Not only that, it was also he who initially found the timber, and he made many contributions during the battle. I summarized his several key actions, and you won't believe it, but without Jiang Fan, we humans would certainly have lost this battle. Then why did I hear Sect Master Lei complain about Jiang Fan being ungrateful to everyone he met? He really said that to me, like a resentful woman. What did Jiang Fan do to him? Even a few Supreme Elders who arrived early couldn't help but look on curiously. I heard this young man is proficient in various divine skills, from the sound path of the Heavenly Sound sect, the thunder path of the True Thunder sect, to the sword control technique of the Myriad Swords sect. He has mastered them all. If this battle hadn't exposed him, who would believe our 9 sects had such a genius? The Green Cloud sect is really hidden with talents, secretly cultivating such a figure. What cultivation? Those old guys from the Green Cloud sect don't have the capability. They just got lucky and picked up such a precious disciple. Exactly. It's all thanks to the blessing from the Green Cloud sect's ancestors' graves. Luck. Pa, I say pa too. Pa! The female disciples also stood on tiptoe, stretching their snowy white necks, curiously peering at this renowned disciple. So that's junior brother Jiang Fan. He's really handsome. Only handsome. You're not even mentioning his prowess. I heard he wiped out 100 demon beasts with just a tune from his gyukin. How come I heard he competed with Fu Keohun in playing the zither, and with one tune he destroyed 1,000 demon beast army? What? I heard he, dressed in white as pure as snow, stood alone on the summit playing the zither, and with a laugh and talk he quelled over 10,000 corpses. Indeed. Many female disciples' attention was also on Liu Qingxian. She really knows how to pick. She chose junior brother Jiang right away. It's just being in the right place at the right time. Exactly, in terms of looks, I don't feel I'm any worse than Liu Qingxian, it's just luck. Liu Qingxian followed beside Jiang Fan, enduring the attention of the entire crowd. As the daughter of the Green Cloud sect master, she had also seen big scenes. But such a scene was something she experienced for the first time. She couldn't help but feel reserved. Thinking back to 6 months ago, Jiang Fan was just an unknown youngster who needed to rely on rewards to have a chance to use the spirit pond in the lonely Boat City Lord Mansion. Now, he was already radiating brilliance, even involving her in becoming a widely noticed and prominent figure. When she heard some discordant voices in her ears, she felt a deep sense of inferiority. Now, she felt somewhat undeserving of Jiang Fan's radiance. At this moment, Jiang Fan gripped her hand a bit more firmly. Feeling his invisible support gave Liu Qingxian immense strength in her heart, no matter how the outside looked at her. At this moment, Jiang Fan stood by her side. She straightened her back, sweeping away her discouraged state of mind. Her gaze sharply returned to the jealous female disciples. Then she proudly lifted her snowy white neck, taking the initiative to hold onto Jiang Fan's arm, declaring her sovereignty. Like a triumphant general returning from victory, angering many female disciples into secretly clenching their fists. How dare she provoke me? That arrogant woman, what's she flaunting? Come on. Does she think I'm jealous of her? Listening to their helpless rage. Liu Qingxian slightly curled her lips, feeling particularly joyful, amidst countless focused gazes. Jiang Fan led Liu Qingxian forward to stand before Yi Kangyuan. Jiang Fan, disciple of Green Cloud sect, pays respects to Vice Pavilion Master Yi. Yi Kangyuan's usually stern old face had not stopped smiling since Jiang Fan appeared. Quick rise, our special merit contributor. Ah, I really misjudged. Although I knew you would excel, I never imagined you would be this extraordinary. In this great victory at Boundary Mountain, you are the #1 contributor. He smiled so broadly it seemed his mouth couldn't close. Since taking command in Sunset City, directing all sides, this was the first time he had laughed so heartily. Because this great victory had extremely profound implications. This was since ancient times, the first truly significant battle between humans and demons. The result was the humans, with only 200 guards, defeated the demon army of 10,000 dead corpses. Such a brilliant record would undoubtedly leave a dazzling mark in history books. At the same time, it greatly boosted morale. It told the 9 sect's disciples that demons were not invincible. Even, it had changed the tides of war. After this battle, the demon race's combat strength was damaged, and their morale dampened. Conversely, the humans' morale soared to an unprecedented high. The balance of power that had been equal was severely disrupted. If nothing unexpected happens, the humans' chances of winning would greatly increase. Thus, Jiang Fan's contribution was enormous, to say the least. Jiang Fan cupped his hands and said, "Vice Pavilion Master Yi overpraises. The credit should be given to the sacrifices of the 9 sect's disciples. Without their desperate defense, there would be no victory for us." Yi Kangyuan's smile faded, but his appreciation for Jiang Fan grew even more. To achieve great merit without arrogance, to look down upon living beings with compassion. Given time, he would surely be a peerless talent benefiting all of humanity. He nodded solemnly. The sacrificed 9 sect's disciples will be buried with the highest honor. Their respective sects will be compensated with resources from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Their families, their younger generations will have the entry threshold lowered, being admitted to the 9 sects exceptionally. If their parents are alive, they will be cared for by the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion until old, if they have passed. The Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion will offer their spiritual tablet for 6 decades. As his words fell, sobbing sounds echoed within the crowd. Elders and disciples who had lost their sect members wept silently, feeling comforted for their sacrificed comrades. Their sacrifice received the highest respect. The rest also felt gratified. Such high-standard treatment, unprecedented, making them more resolute in their determination for this battle, because even in death they had no worries left behind. After Yi Kangyuan finished speaking, he turned to Luo Dingcheng beside him, saying, "Commissioner Luo, Commissioner Wei, next the merit list matters will be hosted by you." This time, the merit list was hosted by Luo Dingcheng along with a shy young woman in her 30s. Her name was Wei Ran. Although young, her strength was as high as the 7th level of core formation. She had been fortunate enough to obtain a position as a special commissioner of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. This was her first time leaving the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion on a mission. What made her nervous was, her partner was the notoriously difficult Luo Dingcheng. Luo Dingcheng was an experienced commissioner, often traveling between the 9 sects. Due to his arrogant nature, he had made many enemies within the 9 sects. Wei Ran was very worried, fearing her first mission would force her into conflict with the 9 sects. Upon hearing Yi Kangyuan speak, she thought it over and decided to speak first, to prevent Luo Dingcheng from offending people right away. She stepped forward and said in a businesslike tone, "All disciples, please line up properly, submit your demon cores one by one, we will tally." As a special commissioner of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, she couldn't be arrogant, but she couldn't be overly amiable either. A businesslike attitude was the most appropriate. Unexpectedly, before she finished speaking, Luo Dingcheng stood up and reprimanded her. "Commissioner Wei, mind your attitude. How can you speak so arrogantly to the 9 sect's disciples? They fought bravely in battle, they deserve more care and less indifference." Wei Ran blinked, pointing to her own nose, "Me arrogant?" Being told by Luo Dingcheng that I was too arrogant, she felt like Luo Dingcheng had taken the wrong script. Strong wasn't it supposed to be Wei Ran accusing Luo Dingcheng? Besides, her tone just now was extremely fitting for her status. How could it be considered arrogant? Even Yi Kangyuan showed a look of surprise as he looked at Luo Dingcheng, as if he was seeing him for the first time. Yi Kangyuan had heard of Luo Dingcheng's reputation. As a seasoned commissioner, he had long lost hope of breaking through to the next realm and thus had no hope of advancing to a higher position. He had adopted a let-it-be attitude and became a true veteran. Whenever there was a task, he would slack off if he could. For example, the last time the rankings were announced, he left everything to Lin Yuheng. When he was forced to show up, he was arrogant and rude. He had quarreled with people from the Nine Sect several times and had even gotten into physical altercations. If not for the mantle of being a commissioner, with his bad temper, he would have been beaten to death long ago. Is the sun rising from the west today? Not only did he take on the task proactively, he even criticized his companions for not caring enough about the Nine Sect disciples. Moreover, in Yi Kangyuan's view, there was nothing wrong with what Wei Ran had said. Among the commissioners, she was actually being quite polite. "Step aside and watch how I handle this." Luo Dengcheng pushed the aggrieved Wei Ran to the back with a stern face. When facing the Nine Sect disciples, he immediately put on a kind and amiable expression. He clasped his hands and said, "Junior brothers and sisters of the Nine Sect, you have worked hard for the past month. As a reward, the treasure vault will be opened this month. Due to the numerous tasks, we need to take inventory one by one. I ask for your further cooperation in handing over the demon cores of the beast kings you have recently acquired for me to count. Senior brother will definitely conduct a fair count and give you all the most accurate rankings." Wei Ran was dumbfounded. She touched her face, feeling somewhat unreal. No way. Was this really the infamous Luo Dengcheng? It would already be a miracle if he wasn't rudely inciting public anger. He was actually being so humble and kind. Other commissioners couldn't do this? Yi Kangyuan also had a look of disbelief, to put it bluntly. This attitude from Luo Dengcheng was excessively humble. It was damaging the dignity of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Was this really something Luo Dengcheng would do? It was truly unimaginable. Since the Nine Sect disciples had few dealings with Luo Dengcheng, they didn't notice anything unusual. They just thought this commissioner was very easygoing. So they all lined up in turn. Luo Dengcheng greeted them one by one. His gaze occasionally swept through the disciples. When he saw Jiang Fan also in the line, he became even friendlier. No choice. He had to improve his bad image in Jiang Fan's eyes somehow. It was quickly Jiang Fan's turn. Luo Dengcheng's mood became excited and he warmly smiled. "Junior brother Jiang, long time no see." Jiang Fan naturally remembered Luo Dengcheng. When he had delivered the clam meat to Lin Yuheng that day, he had also planned to give some to him. Unexpectedly, he refused. "Commissioner Luo, why didn't you come with Commissioner Lin this time?" Lin Yuheng had always taken good care of Jiang Fan. This kindness Jiang Fan always remembered. With a twitch at the corner of his mouth, Luo Dengcheng, not hiding his envy, said, "Thanks to junior brother Jiang, Commissioner Lin broke through to the 8th level of core formation. Naturally, she was promoted to a higher position. She won't have to do the hard work of a commissioner anymore." Speaking of it, it brought tears. Lin Yuheng, like him, was an old commissioner who had no hope of breaking through to the 8th level of core formation, living day by day in the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. But she was lucky. She met Jiang Fan, who was a benefactor, and obtained a lump of 1,000-year spiritual meat. Thus, her fate changed. With the 1,000-year spiritual meat, she broke through to the 8th level of core formation in one fell swoop. And with her higher cultivation, she naturally gained the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion's favor and was promoted. And Luo Dengcheng? Clearly, Jiang Fan, out of consideration for Lin Yuheng, had also given him a lump of 1,000-year spiritual meat, offering him a grand opportunity. But he dismissively rejected it. In the past half-month, he had slapped himself countless times in regret. Thus, this time he came, with the intention of reconnecting with Jiang Fan. Now with Jiang Fan in front of him, he naturally had to change his usual style and do things straightforwardly. Upon hearing that Lin Yuheng had been promoted, Jiang Fan showed a look of relief. "When I get a chance, I will congratulate her. Commissioner Luo, here are my demon cores, please count them." He handed a bundle to Luo Dengcheng. Luo Dengcheng did not take it, but said, "Place it on the table. I will do my best to avoid touching it to prevent any suspicion of manipulating the count, which would be bad for junior brother Jiang." Luo Dengcheng pointed to the wooden table in front of him. It had to be said, if he worked seriously, he was still quite savvy. Jiang Fan nodded, then casually placed the bundle on the table in front of Luo Dengcheng. Boundary Mountain was rundown without even a decent house. This table was made on-site with leftover wood from the battles. The wood had weathered for 1,000 years, becoming rather fragile. It could hold light things but couldn't withstand heavy pressure. So, when Jiang Fan let go, there was a clattering sound. The entire wooden table instantly collapsed under the weight. The loud noise drew the inquisitive eyes of the queued disciples, deacons, and elders. Luo Dengcheng was also stunned. Junior brother Jiang, how many demon cores do you have in here? The disciple with the most demon cores previously had over 20. That was already quite an impressive achievement. After all, these were all king-level demon cores. For disciples in the initial period of core formation, each beast king killed was not easy. Killing over 20 was very impressive. But putting so many demon cores on a table had never caused it to collapse. What was going on now? Jiang Fan said, "I don't remember the exact number. Commissioner Luo can count them to find out." Not remember. Luo Dingcheng was stunned for a moment. What was he saying? With Jiang Fan's cultivation, killing each beast king should be extremely difficult. He should remember clearly how many he had killed. Some disciples also snorted coldly. Show off, among the giant sect disciples. One who was extremely tall and bulky like a small mountain stared at Jiang Fan with fiery eyes. In the entire nine-sect land, someone with such an inhuman form, looking almost like a demon beast. There was only one. That was the half-giant with ancient giant blood, Zhu Wanchang. In the giant sect, he had been severely injured by Jiang Fan. Now not only had his injuries healed, but his physique had also qualitatively improved. He vaguely had the physique strength of the third level of core formation. He could now compete with Jin Zhongming. With your cultivation, how many beast kings could you kill? Filling a big bag with stones, are you afraid of losing your top spot on the merit list? Hypocrites will always meet their end. Stop embarrassing yourself with these pathetic tricks. Jiang Fan showed a look of confusion. Zhu Wanchang's recent arrival at the snowfield, not knowing Jiang Fan's achievements, could be excused. But Jin Zhongming had personally witnessed Jiang Fan's astonishing feats at the sky-breaking canyon. How could he not be clear about this? Yet Jin Zhongming stood silently to the side, with his eyes closed, showing no intention of stopping Zhu Wanchang from embarrassing himself. Many uninformed disciples also echoed in agreement. If that bag is full of Beast King demon cores, wouldn't there be hundreds? How possible is that? How could there be so many Beast Kings for him to kill? Senior brother Zhu is perceptive. Jiang Fan must be afraid this time he performed poorly and will be exposed. Given that Commissioner Luo is his old acquaintance, could they have conspired to manipulate the count? Luo Dingcheng couldn't help but worry. These conspiracy theories were not completely unreasonable. Such a large bag if it was truly filled with Beast King demon cores. How many would there be? He felt a surge of internal conflict. For the sake of fairness, let's count them. Would it expose Jiang Fan's actual battle record, subjecting him to being pointed at by thousands and losing face? Or manipulate the results secretly? With Vice Pavilion Master Yi watching, let alone what would happen if he failed. Even if he succeeded, the disciples present would certainly question it, right? After all, a person claiming to have slain hundreds of Beast Kings, the number was too exaggerated. Even Luo Dingcheng, with core formation 7th layer strength, wouldn't dare to claim to have slain so many Beast Kings in a month, let alone Jiang Fan, who just reached the 2nd layer of core formation. Commissioner Luo, hurry and count. Hearing the constant doubts, Jiang Fan inwardly felt speechless. He was anxious about these people's intelligence. Could the bag be filled with rocks? A few hundred at once? How could they even think that, faking such an impressive record, not to mention these people questioning it? The present sect elders, supreme elders, even Yi Kangyuan himself would question it. When faced with a confrontation on the spot, Jiang Fan would be doomed, and Luo Dingcheng as well. One wouldn't need to think much to know Luo Dingcheng would never help Jiang Fan in such a sure-to-be-exposed fraud. But Luo Dingcheng, urged to move, looked troubled as he opened the bag. He hadn't decided whether to help Jiang Fan cheat yet. If he didn't cheat, he would offend Jiang Fan and could forget about the 1,000-year spiritual meat. Cheating, but with hundreds of demon cores, how could that go unnoticed? It would definitely end up in confrontation. How about reporting a few extra demon cores? Just to make Jiang Fan look a little better, not too disgraceful. Then, after reconsidering, Luo Dingcheng quietly shook his head. Because it was evident there were much more than a few demon cores in the bag. Reporting too few would still arouse suspicion, making it a difficult task. He opened the bag, feeling heavy-hearted, and immediately heard countless objects clashing and shaking inside. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. How many rocks did Jiang Fan actually pack in there? It seemed like more than just 200. Only when he looked inside, Luo Dingcheng was stunned. Various colorful demon cores of all sizes, dazzlingly arrayed, came into his view. Small ones like human eyes, big ones like a baby's fist. The colors were varied, some even indescribably mixed. These were all demon cores, purely Beast King-level demon cores. There were even a few late-stage core formation demon cores among them. As for the imagined rocks, not a single one. Stunned for a long moment, he finally remembered his actual job. Feeling enormously relieved, he began counting them. Zhu Wancheng couldn't help but chuckle. Look, he's seriously counting them now. I'd like to see what kind of battle record Jiang Fan can finally have. Disciples who harbored resentment against Jiang Fan also sneered. Let's wait. If they cheat too blatantly, it'll be easier to catch them. A green cloud sect disciple without spirit root, expecting to always outshine us true prodigies. This time on the merit list, he must be exposed. The atmosphere at the scene grew somewhat peculiar as Luo Dengcheng took more time to count. The elders and supreme elders initially didn't believe Jiang Fan would cheat. The reason was simple. Cheating with 1 or 2 demon cores was no big issue. But cheating with such a large quantity, it would be like treating everyone present as blind. Absolutely impossible to get away with. But watching Luo Dengcheng taking so long to count, they also began to whisper. Just how many demon cores are there? Even 200 should have been counted by now, right? Could there really be 300 demon cores in there? So many demon cores, even we elders couldn't achieve that. Could we? Let alone finding so many beast kings, just killing them would be quite exhausting. After all, these are genuine beast kings, not scarecrows that we can cut as we wish. Li Qingfeng, Wen Hongyao, and Xiao Wuji kept stern expressions. Some elders from Green Cloud Sect who had arrived seemed anxious, asking, Elder Li, Jiang Fan won't have any issues, right? If this is cheating, all the accumulated reputation would be ruined. This time, Jiang Fan had one great honor for Green Cloud Sect, making Green Cloud Sect stand tall among the 9-sect alliance. As disciples of Green Cloud Sect, wherever they went, they would receive envious glances from others. But if Jiang Fan's cheating was exposed, this honor would collapse instantly. The human heart is complex, capable of kindness and generosity, but also of jealousy and pettiness. Thus, a person who did bad deeds all their life suddenly doing a good deed would evoke goodwill and approval from others. Conversely, a person who was upright all their life suddenly doing a bad deed would face vilification and censure as if defying natural order. This, because the human heart is fickle. So it was with Jiang Fan as well. He now basked in glory. He was a top merit achiever, a young hero, and a rising star in the 9-sect alliance. Yet, if he committed a single misdeed, this glory would instantly collapse, turning him into a public outcast. Reputation can make a person, but also destroy them. Jiang Fan was now in an extremely vulnerable position, not allowing any blemish on his record. Li Qingfeng also realized the gravity of the situation. He took a deep breath and said, I believe in Jiang Fan's character. His tone wasn't firm, because he too felt the number of demon cores was incredibly high. Jian Linyuan was formidable, the young master of Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion from a mysterious family with invisible and invincible support behind him. When he handed over his demon cores, it only amounted to a bit over 100. How could Jiang Fan have more than Jian Linyuan? Upon hearing Li Qingfeng's uncertain tone, the elders of Green Cloud Sect became more anxious. Meanwhile, Kong Yuanba, observing the Green Cloud Sect elders' expressions, felt much relieved. Jiang Fan is ultimately too young. Reputation is truly enjoyable when it's good, but if mishandled, the backlash could be fatal. The Green Cloud Sect members, no matter how confident they felt recently, their faces will soon turn sullen. Heh. Yi Kangyuan clasped his hands behind his back, silent and unspeaking. But the initial hint of a smile on his face gradually reverted to sternness, showing his current mood wasn't very good. Even Nangong Xiaoyan, standing beside him, vaguely heard Yi Kangyuan sigh. She understood that Yi Kangyuan was lamenting Jiang Fan. A rising star, ruined by an act of cheating, was truly a pity. She looked at Jiang Fan, feeling a deep sense of pity as well. His future was bright, but due to a moment's greed, his reputation was destroyed. Was it worth it? Liu Qingxian also felt nervous, but she didn't let go of Jiang Fan. Instead, she held him tighter. No matter if Jiang Fan would be condemned by everyone, or if she would be implicated, having chosen Jiang Fan, she would stay loyal to him. Not just cheating. Even if Jiang Fan ever had to betray the human clan one day, she would follow him without hesitation, standing against all humankind. In this somewhat oppressive atmosphere, Luo Dengcheng finally stood up with a sigh of relief. He stretched his sore back. It's all counted, he said. He cheats. The entire venue suddenly fell silent. They all wanted to see what kind of number Luo Dengcheng would report. It seemed. No matter how many or how few, it would arouse suspicion. From the moment Jiang Fan took out that large bag, Jiang Fan had no way out, unless all his demon cores were authentic. Otherwise, he wouldn't escape a fate of utter disgrace today. However, the possibility that all these demon cores were real was so slim it could be ignored. Luo Dengcheng surveyed the crowd and smiled. Green Cloud Sect disciple Jiang Fan, 350 Beast King Demon Cores. On the quiet boundary mountain, the words 350 reverberated in the air like a whirlwind, echoing in everyone's ears. How many? 350? An elder's aged voice let out a low exclamation. Even those as strong as the elders were astonished by this number. The elders too kept exclaiming, 350. Is that even possible? From the time the demons launched their invasion until now, the total number of Beast Kings hasn't reached that many, has it? I really like Jiang Fan, and I can understand a little bit of cheating, but this number is too absurd. After all, he's still young and unstable, achieving unprecedented merit, and now he's a bit over the top. Ah, what a pity for a good seedling. That's what the elders speculated. Not to mention the disciples. Hearing this, Zhu Wancheng burst into laughter. 350, ha ha ha. It's one thing for someone to present such a number, another to actually announce it. Whether you believe it or not, I believe it. Ha ha ha, the disciples who were envious of Jiang Fan. All of them erupted in sarcastic laughter. No wonder he's number one on the merit list, such a staggering haul. Do you believe it or not? Believe it. Of course I believe it. He's the hero. Even if he produced 3,500 or 35,000, I'd believe it. Li Qingfeng and the others sighed silently, feeling the strange looks from the elders of other sects. They felt a suffocating sense of frustration. The pride they felt for Jiang Fan earlier now turned into embarrassment. They could barely speak up for Jiang Fan if it were 100 cores. 350 left them speechless. Kong Yuanba mocked mercilessly. The Green Cloud sect sure teaches well. Our sect is very impressed. Ha ha ha. Those female disciples who once looked at Jiang Fan with admiration now felt disappointed. Junior brother Jiang is impeccable in looks and talent, but his character, alas. There are no perfect people in this world. I should have understood this sooner. I once thought of interacting with junior brother Jiang more, but now I guess that's off the table. The female disciples who were jealous of Liu Qingxian now felt vindicated. I told you she would get her comeuppance. How will she still have the face to claim herself as the number one fairy of the 9 sect? Heh, she should be called the number one blind fairy now, not picking so many other excellent men, but a cheater. Liu Qingxian clenched her fists. She didn't mind being slandered herself, but she couldn't tolerate slander towards Jiang Fan and said coldly, "So what if he cheats? I like following him, what's it to you?" Several tall, attractive female disciples gave her a cold look. They immediately formed a front, shouting, "Liu Qingxian, do you want a fight?" Liu Qingxian wasn't afraid of their numbers. She let go of Jiang Fan and decisively drew her sword. The cold light shone as her sword chi emanated like frost. "Good, let's see who can shut up." Liu Qingxian raised her sword towards the tall, attractive female disciples. "HMPH, we have the numbers. Do you think we're afraid of you?" One of the female disciples scoffed as she drew her sword. More supporters come to those who uphold justice. She refused to believe anyone would risk their reputation to stand up for Jiang Fan and Liu Qingxian. Yet before they drew their swords, a sublime figure calmly emerged from the crowd. "What about adding me?" Xianxia calmly walked to stand by Jiang Fan's side. She stood firmly beside him with Liu Qingxian on the other side. The faces of the provoking female disciples changed. The usual aloof Xianxia, standing up for Jiang Fan, she never liked to join in any lively affairs. Yet at such a critical moment, she chose to support Jiang Fan despite the consequences. "Senior sister Xia, do you support Jiang Fan's cheating too?" Xianxia said calmly. "Whether he cheats or not, he's still my martial uncle. And those who draw their swords against my senior brother, I shall draw mine against them." Clang, she drew her chillingly cold sword. With the number one prodigy of the 9 sect supporting them, the aggressive female disciples' momentum faltered. At this moment, Zhu Wancheng took heavy steps forward. "Does being the number one prodigy of the 9 sect mean you can do whatever you want?" "I, Zhu Wancheng, won't stand for it." He stood behind the female disciples, providing them significant encouragement. However, before they could rejoice, Liang Feiyan came forward carrying his sword with a cold expression. "Is this any of your business, Zhu Wancheng? If we talk about shameful acts, giant sect disciples have done plenty." He stood beside Xianxia. His stance was crystal clear. "Right, so what if junior brother Jiang cheats? For such a small mistake, you want to cast him into the abyss. Liang Jun walked out of the crowd with his hands behind his back and stood beside Liu Qingxian. Exactly what's the big deal? I flirt with women from other sects all the time. Has it ever affected my status as the chief disciple of the Desire sect? Zai Liushu walked out of the crowd with a cheeky grin, standing behind Jiang Fan. Yi Liangxing also stepped behind Jiang Fan with a cold expression. She glared fiercely at the tall female disciples. Exaggerating others' faults while lacking the courage to reflect on yourselves? Soon after, Hua Xianxian, Li Shiqian, Jai Ryu, and the disciples who had fought alongside Jiang Fan at Boundary Mountain. Finally, all the Green Cloud sect disciples came forward. In just a moment, nearly 100 people surrounded Jiang Fan. They admitted that Jiang Fan indeed did something dishonorable, but couldn't accept these people magnifying it, attacking not only Jiang Fan but also his female companion. On the other side, Zhu Wancheng and his lot. Remained just a few of them. The disciples who had been disparaging Jiang Fan a moment ago, now seeing the overwhelming support from the 9 sect disciples for Jiang Fan. They withdrew, not daring to say a word. The pretty female disciples stuck out their tongues, realizing that neither Jiang Fan nor his women were individuals they could handle. Jiang Fan held extremely high prestige among the disciples. Named elite disciples almost unanimously supported him. This was something rare. Not even Xia Keoj might receive such support for her mistakes. Zhu Wancheng laughed out loud. Seeing he couldn't handle this himself, he turned to Yi Kangyuan and bowed. Vice Pavilion Master Yi, does this seem right to you? How depraved has the 9 sects atmosphere become? So many disciples openly protecting a shameless cheater. I request Vice Pavilion Master Yi to uphold justice, punish evil, and restore clarity. Many disciples glanced at Zhu Wancheng disdainfully. Coming from another sect, these words might be convincing. But from a giant sect disciple, haven't they done enough robbing of others' disciples recently? Yi Kangyuan sighed quietly. With the situation escalating, he had no choice but to step in. However, just as he was about to speak, Luo Dengcheng, with his hands behind his back, spoke first with authority. What do you mean? Calling Jiang Fan a cheater at every turn. His demon cores were counted by me, the special commissioner, one by one. Are you suggesting that I, the special commissioner, am also cheating? A few of the pretty female disciples did not dare to make a sound. They all hid behind Zhu Wancheng, but their elongated faces were nearly carved with the words, "What do you think?" Zhu Wancheng felt somewhat apprehensive. Since the matter targeted Jiang Fan, collusion with Luo Dengcheng was destined to be inescapable. He glanced back at Kong Yuanba. The latter's eyelids lowered slightly, and Zhu Wancheng understood. The sect master supported him too. It made sense. Such blatant cheating and in such large quantities, Luo Dengcheng should be the one afraid. What did he have to fear? Thus, he coldly remarked, "Does Commissioner Luo not know whether he was colluding? 350 demon cores, who are you fooling? Unless we get an explanation today, we'll storm the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion." Luo Dengcheng let out a cold chuckle. He remembered Zhu Wancheng, along with the few pretty female disciples behind him. He also remembered the sneering disciples in the crowd. He raised his hand and swung it. A powerful palm strike hit the snow in front of Zhu Wancheng. With a bang, ice shards and snowflakes splattered. A huge snow pit, about 10 feet in diameter, appeared on the ground. Zhu Wancheng swallowed secretly, trying to maintain his calm. He shouted, "What are you trying to threaten me?" "Everyone's watching, Commissioner Luo. Do you intend to cover the sky with one hand and silence everyone with force?" He spoke passionately. But Luo Dengcheng picked up his bundle and walked to the snow pit. He emptied all the contents into it. Clatter, multicolored beast king demon cores of various sizes. They clinked together, creating a pleasing sound. Every sound was like a slap in the face, directed at Zhu Wancheng and the few troublesome pretty female disciples. The sect supreme elders let out low exclamations. "Beast king demon cores, all beast king demon cores. This number definitely exceeds 300. I wondered why Jiang Fan would be so foolish to cheat in such a matter." The elders and deacons of the various sects were also dumbstruck. There really are over 300. Jiang Fan didn't cheat and Commissioner Luo didn't manipulate anything. These are genuine battle results. Unbelievable. Seeing is believing, but who would have believed a junior could kill over 300 beast kings in a month? Even seeing it now, I still find it hard to believe. They say the Yangtze River pushes forward the waves behind, but the new wave is too strong. The elders of Green Cloud sect also showed irrepressible joy after a few moments of stupefaction. "See that? Everyone sees that. Who said Jiang Fan cheated? These are all real, genuine demon cores. Only God knew how embarrassed they had been just now. Jiang Fan's remarkable achievements once again filled them with pride. Li Qingfeng glanced at Kong Yuanba and chuckled. Some people were as happy as if they were celebrating New Year's just now. But now they looked like they're mourning during the Qingming festival. Everyone looked at Kong Yuanba and saw his face had turned terrifyingly dark, in stark contrast to his earlier fake smile. The crowd couldn't help but laugh. The slaps were audible, loud, and clear. The female disciples also covered their red lips, letting out a chorus of gasps. Junior brother Jiang is so impressive. I can't imagine how he, single-handedly, managed to get over 300 Beast King demon cores. Yes, I barely escaped with my life the last time I encountered a Beast King. But junior brother Jiang makes it look like slicing watermelons. Where on earth did I get the courage to doubt junior brother Jiang's integrity? Traces of regret flickered across the faces of many female disciples. Many more stared in utter admiration at Liu Qingxian. Now I understand why junior brother Jiang chose Liu Qingxian. It's not because she's exceptionally beautiful, but because she's willing to stand against everyone else for him. While the dreams of the other female disciples faded amid the cheating scandal, only Liu Qingxian stood by his side, regardless of everything. This left them with nothing but envy, not a hint of jealousy. Liu Qingxian, flushed with excitement, said, "Fan, you." Jiang Fan turned to her and smiled. "I didn't disappoint you, right?" He reached out and pulled her into his arms with great poise. "Everyone's watching, don't be like this." Liu Qingxian blushed, fidgeting. Jiang Fan held her tightly and said, "You didn't mind being called a blind fairy. So why care about this?" Liu Qingxian felt both shy and sweet. She lightly hit his shoulder and then rested her head on it, her face red. Liang Feiyin couldn't stand it and rolled her eyes. "Jiang Fan, isn't that enough? Why don't you hug me too? I also supported you, disregarding my reputation." Liang Jun also chimed in, gritting his teeth. "Exactly, we just backed you up and now you're shoving dog food in our faces." "I don't care, you have to hug me too. Don't play favorites." Zai Liushu scoffed and moved away from Liang Feiyin and Liang Jun. "You two make me sick." Suddenly, he inadvertently stepped back to where Xia Caoj stood. Habitually, he quipped, "Junior sister Xia, why don't you let your uncle hug you? Your support for him is no less than junior sister Liu's." Before he could finish his sentence. He clutched his stomach, bending over in pain. Xia Caoj, expressionless, sheathed her sword hilt and said calmly, "Senior brother Zai, speak properly." The entire crowd burst into laughter. Jiang Fan's mouth twitched. He dares to say anything, serves him right. Raising his hand, he cupped it in respect to the crowd, to the supreme elders, deacons, and fellow disciples from various sects. "I apologize for the inconvenience caused by the substantial number of demon cores I, Jiang, fortunately acquired. I deeply apologize." The crowd felt awkward. A supreme elder, both embarrassed and envious, spoke up. "Look at him, how well he speaks." Everyone questioned him, yet he apologizes for causing inconvenience. Strong in power, high in emotional intelligence, hard not to achieve great things in the future. I almost want to swallow my pride and snatch him to our sect. Better forget it. When he wasn't famous, maybe. Now if you try, the old folks of Green Cloud sect will fight you to death. Everyone felt a bit remorseful when they looked at Zhu Wanchang and the troublesome female disciples. They naturally felt disgusted. Fortunately, Jiang Fan was upright and righteous. Else wouldn't he have been ruined by those bad guys? "Chen Liuoquan, get back here right now. What a disgrace." Zhao Li Wangpan still standing there. "Aren't you ashamed?" Several female disciples looked embarrassed and were called back by their respective elders. Zhu Wanchang also felt quite humiliated. Accusing Jiang Fan unsuccessfully, he now had a reputation as a petty person. Angrily, he shouted, "Jiang Fan, using underhanded methods to get demon cores, what skill is that? I am not convinced. If you have the guts, fight me one-on-one." Feeling his physique had greatly improved, he was eager to avenge himself and fight Jiang Fan again. Jin Zhongming, who had been silent all along, his eyes sparkled with a sly, sinister smile. Jiang Fan had no interest in fighting. He replied indifferently, "If you're unconvinced, go and collect 350 demon cores. If you don't have that ability, fill a bag with stones pretending to be demon cores. Maybe someone will believe it." Everyone couldn't help but laugh at the bag of stones joke. Zhu Wanchang couldn't bear the provocation. Furiously, he shouted, "You're courting death!" He raised his fist and charged at Jiang Fan with great strides. Swoosh, Liu Qingxian left Jiang Fan's embrace. A glint of shame flashed in her eyes as she spoke. "You're not qualified to fight Jiang Fan. Let me handle you." Jiang Fan was about to stop her, but seeing the shame in her eyes, he understood. Liu Qingxian wanted to avenge the humiliation of having the Gale Pearl taken by Zhu Wanchang. Though he had avenged her, it was better for Liu Qingxian to settle this herself for her mental state. So he let her draw her sword and face him. Zhu Wanchang sneered dismissively. "A loser dares to make a move. Since you're courting death, I'll beat you to within an inch of your life first." The crowd's heart tightened with anxiety. Zhu Wanchang's strength had increased significantly. How could Liu Qingxian, a mere first-layer core formation stage disciple, be his match? However, when Liu Qingxian swung her sword, the crowd erupted in exclamations. Qingxian revealed a sharp sword strike. Her cultivation was exposed. It was shockingly at the third level of core formation. What? Liu Qingxian was still at the first level of core formation a month ago. What immortal pill did she take to break through 2 levels in 1 month? The third level of core formation is enough to rank among the top 5 prodigies in the 9-sect land. Right, currently known ones are Xia Cultivation, Liang Feiyan, and Jin Zhongming, and counting Zhu Wanchang too. She's really ranked in the top 5 now. Nangong Xiaolan widened her eyes. Her little paws held her head, looking like she was doubting life itself. This is crazy. She didn't make any progress in the 2 months after breaking through to core formation in the Green Cloud sect. And suddenly she breaks through 2 levels in 1 month? Wait a minute. She looked at Jiang Fan with eyes like lightning. If Liu Qingxian had any special encounters this month, it must be because Jiang Fan came to Sunset City. It's Jiang Fan. It must be Jiang Fan who gave her a lot of fortune. Nangong Xiaolan stomped her feet in annoyance. When she went to the Green Cloud sect to spar with Liu Qingxian last time, Liu Qingxian didn't even have core formation yet. Yet she climbed up to Jiang Fan and suddenly soared to the 3rd level of core formation. In contrast, even with the best resources from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, she was only at the 2nd level of core formation. In terms of cultivation, she was already surpassed by Liu Qingxian. Upon hearing, the disciples present couldn't stay calm anymore. Especially the female disciples, their eyes turned red. So it was Jiang Fan who helped her. Come to think of it, with Jiang Fan's rapid improvement, lifting up Liu Qingxian along the way isn't difficult. Liu Qingxian is so fortunate to catch Jiang Fan's eye. She can not only be in the spotlight, but her cultivation also skyrockets. I'm so envious I could die. The male disciples were also jealous. It's not just you female disciples. I even want to ask junior brother Jiang if he fancies a brotherly romance. Liu Qingxian's massive improvement also startled Zhu Wanchang. In such a short time, she had actually cultivated to the 3rd level of core formation, but he soon composed himself. You may have advanced in cultivation, but your cultivation techniques may not have caught up. He launched a punch, dispersing the incoming sword Qi. But before he could celebrate, Liu Qingxian unleashed her 2nd sword. Sunrise over the sea? Zhu Wanchang immediately became serious and hurriedly utilized the body technique of the giant sect to erupt with overwhelming power. Only then could he barely disperse this sword. Good, you are qualified to duel with me? Zhu Wanchang said angrily and embarrassedly. The one he could easily defeat back then could now actually match him. Heaven and earth star fall? Liu Qingxian, expressionless, performed her final sword move. Intense thunder explosion sounds shook the entire area. The air in front of her boiled and rolled crazily as if boiling. The surrounding ice and snow shattered and scattered like powder. The terrifying sword Qi of a heaven-shaking sword pierced forth instantly. Zhu Wanchang's face changed drastically with fear. Without hesitation, he let out a low roar. His muscles quickly swelled, and purple veins bulged on his body surface. His eyes reddened, and a faint layer of blood aura appeared on his body. His whole aura surged to the 4th level of core formation. It's the bloodline of the ancient giant. Impenetrable to all methods, indestructible by water and fire. It's the nemesis of human martial artists. Indeed, Heaven and Earth Star Fall, the ultimate move of sword heart engraving. The sword that should have easily pierced through Zhu Wanchang was dispersed into fragments of wandering sword Qi by the mysterious red blood aura on his body surface. Zhu Wanchang, furious and ashamed, said, "You actually forced me to use the bloodline of the ancient giant. You damn woman." He couldn't tolerate being caught up to by a former defeated opponent. And even with his greatly advanced physique, Jiang Fan squinted his eyes. This sword was already Liu Qingxian's limit. It was his turn to act. However, Liu Qingxian, unhurried, suddenly changed her sword grip. She actually held the long sword with both hands, shouted elegantly, "All things begin!" Instantly, She and the sword became one, her body like a sword, bursting out with a world-shaking, dazzling radiance. Everyone felt a piercing pain in their eyes, unable to look directly for a while. Only the experts above the elder level barely saw 100 Jiang tall white sword shadow soaring into the sky. Even more horrifying, as Liu Qingxian held the sword with both hands and slashed towards Zhu Wancheng fiercely. The 100 Jiang sword shadow erupted with terrifying sword chi that made hearts pound, slashed down with a thunderous roar. Zhu Wancheng's face changed drastically in fear. In an instant, he was struck by the 100 Jiang sword shadow. The mysterious blood aura on his body's surface disintegrated on the spot. This sword easily broke through his ancient giant bloodline and coldly slashed towards his body. Poof! Struck by the sword shadow, Zhu Wancheng spurted blood from his 7 orifices. If this sword finished, he would surely perish. "Stop!" Kong Yuanba, with eyes wide open, shouted. He rushed forward with astonishing speed and blocked the fatal sword. As the sword shadow dissipated, everyone was shocked to discover half of Kong Yuanba's body was cut into the ice. His clothes burst apart, covered in ferocious sword scars. Zhu Wancheng was bleeding all over, lying on the ground unconscious. And on the ground, a crack several Jiang deep stretched for several hundred Jiang, the whole place was silent. Looking at Liu Qingxian standing with her sword, they couldn't help but swallow gently. What terrifying swordsmanship is this? In terms of power, it can be compared to the sword control technique of the myriad sword sect. This strike, even a 5th level of core formation, would die without a doubt. This is because Liu Qingxian's cultivation is only at the 3rd level of core formation. If her cultivation was higher, the swordsmanship's power would be even more terrifying. Liu Qingxian glanced at Zhu Wancheng. She let out a long breath from her chest, saying, "Want to fight, Fan? You're not qualified." Having said that, she gracefully returned to Jiang Fan's side. Seeing Jiang Fan's surprised look, Liu Qingxian felt greatly satisfied and proudly said, "Do you see me in a new light now?" Jiang Fan was genuinely shocked. He could understand Liu Qingxian's cultivation. The prior clam meat had promoted her to the 2nd level of core formation, but the clam meat's effect hadn't fully played out. Moreover, she cultivated the dragon-seeking scripture from the void divine tree. Breaking through to the 3rd level of core formation within the next month wasn't hard to grasp. As for sword heart engraving, reaching great success. Besides Liu Qingxian's talent, it also couldn't have happened without Jiang Fan's insights. This was also understandable. What he couldn't fathom was how that mysterious and untraceable sword move just now came about. "You actually cultivated such powerful swordsmanship," Jiang Fan praised. In terms of power, it already surpassed the 1st volume of the sword control technique. Liu Qingxian became even more proud. "Want to learn it? Then you have to coax me to be happy. For example, call me something." She actually teased Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan pulled her into his arms, whispered in her ear, "Wife, you're being naughty." "Wife?" Liu Qingxian's body stiffened, her cheeks flushed to the roots of her ears. Her eyes became watery, like a lotus pond with green leaves, with a corner of red lotus suddenly revealed as the breeze stirred. Endlessly shy. Such simple words had unparalleled power over her, making her surrender instantly. She lowered her head in bashfulness, softly said, I was just joking. How could you really say that? If you want to learn, I'll teach you." This scene made the male disciples present clench their fists in frustration. It's not enough to win the beauty's heart. The beauty also obediently offers up supreme swordsmanship. "Jiang Fan, you deserve to die." Jiang Fan laughed heartily. He waved his hand and said, "I don't want to learn. I just want to know, where did you learn this technique from?" This sword technique was incredibly powerful. Jiang Fan was indeed very tempted. However, this was Liu Qingxian's exclusive swordsmanship. It was best for her to practice it alone and not pass it on to anyone, lest it gets leaked and someone figures out its secrets. He was worried about the origin of the sword technique and whether it might pose any hidden dangers. Liu Qingxian did not hide anything and said softly, "I learned this in a dream." In a dream? Jiang Fan was stunned. How did she learn such an astonishing swordsmanship in a dream? Liu Qingxian continued, "Wasn't I frozen and unconscious that day? At the brink of death, I dreamt of an old man with one arm practicing swordsmanship. The first few moves were exactly like the sword heart engraving you mentioned. However, there were several more moves after that. It seemed to be a continuation of the sword heart engraving. I only remembered one of the moves, all things begin. If it were you, Fan, with your talent, you might have learned them all, a near-death dream. An old man with one arm practicing swordsmanship. Is there a stronger sword technique inheritance after the sword heart engraving? This information was overwhelming. It seemed that the sword heart engraving, comprehended from the meteorite, was not simple. However, what made Jiang Fan feel somewhat helpless was that it seemed that to learn the subsequent sword techniques, one needed to enter a dream while near death to trigger it. Such a condition was too harsh. Near death meant barely clinging to life. In normal combat, most injuries were typically fatal, and your enemy wouldn't give you the chance to enter a near-death dream. In battles like the ones at Boundary Mountain, how many disciples and elders were instantly killed? There was no state of near death. Moreover, after dreaming, someone still needed to save you. Even if someone were lucky enough to meet these conditions, the problem was, near death might not necessarily trigger a dream. This was just Liu Qingxian's speculation. Jiang Fan said, "This is a great opportunity for you. I notice your sword technique is not yet perfect with many flaws, so never pass it on lest someone discovers its weaknesses." Liu Qingxian leaned into his embrace and cooed, "But I want to share it with you. What's mine is yours. You've been so good to me, I should be completely open with you in return." Jiang Fan patted her head. His fondness for this considerate and warm-hearted senior sister grew deeper. "I possess many unique skills, some of which are not yet perfect. You understand the principle of not being greedy, right? If, in the future, I am fortunate enough to trigger a dream, I will learn it. If I am not destined, I will not force it." Liu Qingxian, filled with resentment, opened her small mouth and bit his shoulder. "You bad guy, you just want me to owe you forever and never leave you." This scene caused everyone around to feel uneasy. "I'm uncomfortable, I'm leaving. Return my sword, I'm going home." "No more playing." Luo Dingcheng also couldn't stand the sweetness anymore. He quickly interrupted them and said, "All right, let's continue counting the Beast King Demon cores." After that little interruption, the subsequent tally became quite uneventful. Even though Xia Caoj and Liang Feiyan took out over 50 Beast King Demon cores, it didn't cause much amazement. After all, there were already 350 Beast King Demon cores before. Compared to that, the other people's gains seemed pale in comparison. Only after half a day did the count of the Beast King Demon cores finally end. Immediately afterward, they also counted the various tasks the disciples of each sect had completed in the past month. Finally, Yi Kangyuan made the decision to approve Lei Zhenhai's merit claims for the disciples who participated in the Boundary Mountain battle. All the merits were approved. They were busy until nightfall. A complete merit list finally emerged. Luo Dengcheng said, "I will only read the top 10 names. The list will be posted, and each disciple should check their ranking and come to me to exchange resources accordingly." 10th place, Jin Zhongming with 1,300 merit points. 9th place, Jai Ryu with 1,400 merit points. 8th place, Na Yunxi with 17,000 merit points. 7th place, Li Shiqian with 18,000 merit points. 6th place, Zai Liushu with 19,000 merit points. 5th place, Hua Xianxian with 2,000 merit points. 4th place, Aoyang Jun with 22,000 merit points. 3rd place, Liang Feiyan with 24,000 merit points. 2nd place, Xia Caoj with 28,000 merit points. The list did not provoke any disputes this time, because all the mentioned individuals had survived the Boundary Mountain battle. Each of them received a first-class merit, earning them 1,000 merit points directly. Additionally, disciples like Jian Linyuan from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion gave their demon cores to them, each receiving several to dozens. Considering the Beast Kings, they hunted down while guarding the rear and various tasks they completed in the past month. Making it into the top 10 was unquestionable. The only surprise was, Jin Zhongming had slipped to 10th place. Even those like Jai Ryu and Na Yunxi, who weren't very famous female disciples, surpassed him. It was quite unexpected. Kong Yuanba's face darkened and he said, "Zhongming, what on earth were you doing?" Jin Zhongming was supposed to be the second strongest after Xia Caoj. How could he only be in 10th place? Being scolded publicly again, a trace of malice flashed in Jin Zhongming's eyes. He said coldly, "In the sky-breaking canyon, Jiang Fan didn't leave me a single demon core. When the disciples of Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion were distributing their demon cores, I didn't wait for Jiang Fan and ended up with nothing. Is it strange that others surpassed me?" Jiang Fan again. Kong Yuanba was furious. That guy was intentionally opposing the giant sect. He better pray he never needs a favor from the giant sect. After their brief excitement, the disciples who made it into the top 10 then perked up their ears to listen to Luo Dingcheng announce the first place. First place was undoubtedly Jiang Fan. Those 350 Beast King Demon cores were worth 7,000 merit points, setting him far ahead. In addition to his numerous battle merits, they couldn't even imagine how high his merit points would be. Luo Dengcheng stared at the list, looking at the number next to Jiang Fan's name that he personally tallied. Even he felt parched. He immediately announced, "First place, Jiang Fan. Merit points 17,000. How much?" Even Xia Keoj, who was in second place, couldn't maintain her calm demeanor. Her beautiful eyes blinked lightly. "I have 28,000. He has 17,000. She felt a bit dazed. Were their merits even judged by the same standard? As the second place, she wasn't even a drop in the bucket compared to Jiang Fan. Everyone else was also stunned. Those merit points were incredibly high. Nangong Zioan couldn't help but gape, suspecting there had been a mistake. "Oh my goodness, I even advised him to watch out for someone snatching first place from him." In the end, the combined merit points of the 9 others probably wouldn't even match his. Luo Dengcheng's hand holding the list trembled slightly. He quickly explained Jiang Fan's achievements separately. 350 Beast King Demon cores, totaling 7,000 merit points. Boundary Mountain Battle, collective first-class merit, 1,000 merit points. Found a large amount of timber, personal first-class merit, 1,000 merit points. Cut off the ice layer, preventing the first line of defense from collapsing, personal first-class merit, 1,000 merit points. Seized the Iron Hammer, successfully attracting Tribulation Thunder, personal first-class merit, 1,000 merit points. Distributed numerous revitalizing pills and replenishing spirit pills, personal first-class merit, 1,000 merit points. Manipulating Tribulation Thunder to destroy the Dead Corpse Army, personal special class merit, 5,000 merit points. Total 17,000 merit points. Suddenly, Luo Dengcheng slapped his forehead. "Sorry, I made a mistake in the calculation." Jiang Fan previously completed the Tai Lake rescue mission, earning 500 merit points. There were still 250 points left from last time. The corrected total merit points are 17,750 points. Everyone was dumbfounded. Recounting discovered an additional 700+ points. Moreover, the reasons behind each merit left them speechless. 1 collective first-class merit, 4 individual first-class merits, 1 individual special-class merit. Each one was indisputable. Hiss, so many merits, can he use them all? I can't even imagine what amazing resources he can exchange for. Amid everyone's envious gazes, Luo Dengcheng took out a tent from his space storage device. He went inside and said, "The old rules apply," entering according to ranking to select resources. First up, Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan's heart surged with emotion. He had been waiting too long for the 3 nascent soul one-strike jade talismans. He immediately ducked into the tent. Luo Dengcheng was already smiling, holding a jade box in his hands. Inside, lying quietly, were the 3 jade talismans containing extremely strong spiritual pressure. Here, they require 3,000 merit points. Jiang Fan eagerly took them. The moment they touched his hand, a huge sense of security surged within him. Having these 3 nascent soul one-strike jade talismans in hand, he could roam within the demon race territory without restraint. As long as he did not encounter the demon emperor, he could retreat unscathed. There are still many good things. Junior brother Jiang can choose at will. Luo Dengcheng's eyes were full of envy. Many of the resources taken out from the treasure house were beyond his reach. Now, with 14,700 merit points left, Jiang Fan could pick freely. Jiang Fan hurriedly looked at the dazzling array of treasures on the ground. Compared to the last time, the resources were even more rare and precious this time. He even saw a defensive magical treasure of the 9th layer of core formation. It was comparable to the 3 copper coins gifted to him by Yu Yunzi. Even in the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, it was a heavyweight secret treasure that ordinary people could not touch. It was a broad-sleeved, flowing fairy dress in blue. Considering the imminent final battle, and since Liu Qingxian did not have a defensive magical treasure, he immediately exchanged for it on the spot. 2,000 merit points. Luo Dengcheng handed it to Jiang Fan. His eyes once again revealed a look of envy. The proud daughter of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion had always wanted to get this treasure clothing. Many talented men were thinking of ways to accumulate merit to exchange for it, thus winning over the beauty's heart. Unexpectedly, Jiang Fan beat them to it. There are still 12,700 merit points left. Jiang Fan nodded and continued to search. Suddenly, he felt a stir in his heart. He discreetly took out a piece of amber. Inside was a drop of dried divinity transformation essence blood. It was found in the holy land of the giant sect, from a powerful demon beast named Qiu Shengnan. This drop of divinity transformation essence blood could sense the presence of divinity transformation realm blood. At this moment, it was faintly flickering. It actually reacted. This made Jiang Fan's heart pound. Could it be that he had easily found the essence blood of the divinity transformation realm? He held the amber as he searched through the pile of treasures. When he approached a stack of heavenly materials and earthly treasures, the flickering intensified. He pushed aside the heavenly materials and earthly treasures, and found a jade box pressed underneath. Several precious talismans with sealing auras were pasted on the jade box. These talismans alone were worth hundreds of merit points. Peering through the jade box, there lay a tattered, old, five-colored covered ancient book. "What is this, kept so securely?" Jiang Fan asked curiously. How did a dried divinity transformation essence blood sense an ancient book? Luo Dengcheng followed his gaze and chuckled. "Junior brother Jiang, you have quite the eye. You immediately picked out the treasure second only to the space storage device." He carefully lifted the jade box, saying, "This is an ancient book unearthed from a 500-year-old relic." Upon identification, the content inside was written by a master of the divinity transformation realm, using his essence blood. The pavilion master speculated that this senior expert of the divinity transformation realm, knowing his impending death, used his essence blood to write down his inheritance. Due to the powerful strength of the divinity transformation essence blood, this ancient book was preserved for 500 years. Otherwise, an ordinary ancient book would have rotted away in less than a year due to wind and sun exposure. Ah! Jiang Fan's pupils contracted. The inheritance of the divinity transformation realm, his heart raced. Then he quickly regained his composure, saying calmly, "The pavilion master is being too generous." Would he really take out the inheritance of the divinity transformation realm to reward the disciples? It didn't make sense. Such an inheritance would not be casually given to the disciples instead of being practiced oneself. Moreover, the inheritance of the divinity transformation realm was far beyond what merit points could exchange. Luo Dengcheng laughed awkwardly. "You're too sharp, junior brother Jiang. This ancient book is indeed the inheritance of a divinity transformation realm, but no one could comprehend it. The pavilion master himself couldn't understand it after a lifetime of research. So, it was placed among the exchangeable resources. If a fated person came along, they could exchange it." This made sense. Jiang Fan was somewhat intrigued, saying, "How much merit is needed?" Luo Dengcheng seemed a bit embarrassed. "Not much, just 10,000 merit points." "How much?" Jiang Fan's eyes widened. 10,000 is not much. Aside from Jiang Fan, who else could gather so many merit points? It seemed the heavenly mechanism pavilion master still couldn't bear to give it away. 10,000 merit points, too insincere. Luo Dengcheng sighed. "It's the inheritance of the divinity transformation realm after all. 10,000 merit points already greatly undervalue its worth." This was true, but the high cost made Jiang Fan very reluctant. Yet the inheritance of the divinity transformation realm was hard to resist. "Can I open it and take a look?" Jiang Fan asked. Luo Dengcheng hesitated for a moment before saying, "Technically, no. It is a book after all. If it's read and memorized, how would that differ from taking it away? However, since it's you, junior brother Jiang, I'll make an exception. You can look at one page, how about that?" Jiang Fan gratefully said. "Thank you, Special Commissioner Luo." Unlike other treasures, books were very special items. Seeing them means acquiring their value. Not being allowed to look was normal. Luo Dengcheng was already showing special favor by allowing him to see one page. As Luo Dengcheng carefully tore off the seal, a terrifying aura rushed out from the gap, making their hearts skip a beat. Luo Dengcheng cautiously glanced outside the tent and said, "Vice Pavilion Master Yi is outside. If too much of the aura from the ancient book leaks, he will notice it. Junior brother Jiang, please read quickly." Jiang Fan nodded and focused his eyesight. When Luo Dengcheng opened the jade box and turned to the first page, Jiang Fan swiftly read through it. Boom! Within a few breaths, Luo Dengcheng hastily closed the book, shut the jade box, and resealed it. Then he carefully looked outside the tent. Seeing that Yi Kangyuan did not come in, he let out a sigh of relief and half-jokingly asked, "What did you see?" Jiang Fan's expression turned strange. He remained silent. Luo Dengcheng seemed to expect his reaction and laughed. "Did you only see a blur of five-colored light and nothing clear?" Ha ha ha! Every special commissioner had secretly looked at it. but the result was always the same as the heavenly mechanism Pavilion masters. Only a blur of five-colored light, nothing else on the ancient book. Everyone who has seen this ancient book was curious like you. All wanted to see if they could discover something the Pavilion master couldn't. In the end, everyone saw the same. He put down the jade box, laughing. It's good to give up. If there was even a sliver of hope to decipher its content, the Pavilion master wouldn't have put it out for exchange. Junior brother Jiang, consider it a learning experience. You can now boast that you have seen an inheritance of the divinity transformation realm, haha. Jiang Fan's expression grew even stranger. After a long silence, he said, I'll take this ancient book. He did not see a blur of five-colored light. He saw a picture, a beautifully colored small mountain picture. And this small mountain he knew very well because it was lying in the heavenly thunderstone. That's right. The first page, what he saw, was exactly 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain. Perhaps because he had refined the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain. That 5-colored light only blocked Jiang Fan's sight for a moment before dissipating, revealing the pattern of the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain on the page. The owner of this ancient book must be the former master of the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain, the 5 elements divine monarch. Years ago, relying on the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain, he defeated countless strong opponents and ascended to the divinity transformation realm, becoming a titan of his time. For some unknown reason, his spatial necklace with the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain got lost elsewhere and was picked up by the founder of the 1000 Refinement sect. And the inheritance technique from his place of passing was discovered by the heavenly mechanism Pavilion. Now, by a twist of fate, Jiang Fan acquired both the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain and the inheritance, thus successfully uncovering the secret of the inheritance. Junior brother Jiang, do you want this ancient book? Luo Dongcheng was taken aback. Didn't you just read it? This is simply something impossible to thoroughly study. Spending 10,000 merit points on this is too crazy, isn't it? He couldn't understand at all. If Jiang Fan had not read the ancient book and exchanged it with a lucky attitude, it would be understandable. But Jiang Fan had clearly read it. Jiang Fan's eyes flashed and he said, It's rare to encounter such a divinity transformation realm inheritance. If you don't study it carefully, how can you be willing to give up? Besides, if I really can't figure something out, I can sell it to a senior in the 9 sect and maybe exchange for something. Luo Dongcheng was speechless. He could only sigh. Those who have merit points can be so capricious. He said helplessly, Fine, since junior brother Jiang insists on exchanging, take it. Handing the jade box to Jiang Fan, he sighed. You only have 2,750 merit points left. See if there's anything else you need. Jiang Fan's eyes searched again. Suddenly, he noticed a long blue sword. The grade turned out to be a top-grade magic weapon. Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion really has a lot of good things, Jiang Fan exclaimed. In the 9 sect land, there are only 2 top-grade magic weapons. One of them is in the hands of Sword King Su Qingyang, but there was one available for resource exchange in the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. He thought of Liu Qingxian. Not matching her with a good sword would waste her prophetic dream. How much is this? Jiang Fan asked, waving it around. Its sharpness unmatched, full of spirituality. If he used this sword to perform all things begin, its power would increase by 3 layers. Even the 6th layer of core formation would have difficulty withstanding such a formidable sword strike. This sword is called Blue Void, 3,000 merit points. Luo Dongcheng was somewhat speechless. Jiang Fan now only had 2,750 merit points left, just over 200 short. If he hadn't squandered before, wouldn't it be enough? Then it's a pity, Jiang Fan said regretfully, reluctantly putting it down. Luo Dongcheng saw that he really liked the sword. After hesitating for a moment, he reluctantly said, all right, take it. The insufficient merit points I'll cover for you. Those 250 merit points, he would have to run back and forth between the 9 sect more than 10 times to earn them. Jiang Fan smiled and said, Thank you, Commissioner Luo, immediately taking the blue void sword with a smile. All his merit points were exhausted, still owing Luo Dongcheng more than 200. The price of the ancient book was indeed too high. Since that was the case, he could only leave the tent, letting others select theirs, just as he was about to leave. Suddenly, he saw a thick bundle of ancient books in the corner, at least 30 books, bound together loosely with a hemp rope, piled up higher than Jiang Fan himself. Jiang Fan glanced at the topmost ancient book, its cover bearing crooked characters. Neither the language of the human clan nor the demon race. What is this, a cultivation technique? Jiang Fan asked in surprise. Luo Dengcheng followed his gaze, indifferently said, "It's language materials of various races." Jiang Fan was stunned. Language materials of various races. How did the heavenly mechanism pavilion have such things? Luo Dengcheng casually drew out a book, opening it to reveal a scent of decay. Indicating it was very old, he said casually, 1,000 years ago, various races allied to fight the ancient giants. But the language barrier between races made communication an obstacle. Thus, sages of all races compiled 30 sets of language learning books for the main races, creating an era where all races could communicate seamlessly. However, among so many races, only our human clan has preserved some cultural traditions. Other races don't care much about this, their language materials are long gone. Only we, the human clan, have preserved those materials. Jiang Fan was moved in his heart. He had obtained the inheritance, Brahma Saint True Spirit technique from the half-demon Liu Qingxian. But it was all recorded in the demon race's script, completely unreadable. Besides that, he also had an old demon race's pill book silver scroll, also unreadable due to the language barrier. He'd long wanted to study the demon race's script thoroughly. This set of language materials compiled by the sages must surely contain the demon race's language. Unfortunately, he had no merit points left. Only wait till next time. Jiang Fan regretfully bid farewell and left the tent, to find Liu Qingxian just outside. Jiang Fan handed over a blue dress and the blue void sword to her. "These are for you." "For me?" Liu Qingxian's face lit up with surprise. She had been secluded in intense cultivation for over half a month, rarely performing missions, thus her merit points were dismally few. Unexpectedly, Jiang Fan had thoughtfully picked 2 gifts for her. Upon seeing the gifts clearly, she exclaimed in astonishment, "Defensive treasure clothes of the 9th layer of core formation perfection. And this, a top-grade magic sword." Her initial surprise turned into reproach. "Why give these to me? What about yourself?" Such precious things, Jiang Fan could exchange them for many useful items for himself. Jiang Fan smiled. "If you don't like them, I'll give them to someone else." "They can't be returned anyway." Tears welled up in Liu Qingxian's eyes. These 2 top-grade magical treasures in the 9-sect land, who besides Jiang Fan would be willing to give them to her? Especially when they hadn't even defined their relationship. She silently hugged Jiang Fan, saying, "Fan, don't be too good to me. I fear I can't repay you." Jiang Fan smiled, stroking her hand. "Silly girl. You were willing to risk your life for me. What's a few gifts compared to that? Let's find a place to test these 2 treasures." Liu Qingxian nodded. Amid envious glances from countless female disciples, she walked away with Jiang Fan. "Ah, Liu Qingxian is really lucky. With such top-grade attack and defense magical artifacts, she might only be second to Xianxia Cultivation among her peers. I think it won't be long until she surpasses Xianxia Cultivation, becoming the #1 proud daughter of the 9-sect land." Xianxia Cultivation stood quietly, watching Jiang Fan and Liu Qingxian walking away side by side. Her calm heart inexplicably stirred with a faint sense of loneliness. Until Luo Dengcheng's reminder, she came to her senses, stepping into the tent. "Xianxia Cultivation, right, feel free to look around. With your 2,000 merit points, you can exchange for quite a few resources." Xianxia Cultivation nodded slightly. Her eyes scanning around caught sight of the thick stack of ancient books in the corner. "What are these?" Luo Dengcheng said. "Books on various races' languages, not cultivation techniques." Oh, Xianxia Cultivation lost interest. Soon heard Luo Dengcheng chuckle. "Your and junior brother Jiang's tastes are a bit similar. Both of you noticed these books. But junior brother Jiang spent all his merit points. Wanting these books means he has to wait till next time." Xianxia Cultivation's eyebrows raised slightly. Reevaluating the ancient books before her, a glimmer of light appeared in her eyes. "Uncle wants these." Luo Dengcheng nodded. Although he didn't say it, it was obvious he was very regretful. Xianxia Cultivation immediately asked, "How many merit points?" Luo Dengcheng was stunned. "You want this? I'd suggest you choose something else. These are outdated old materials, not very valuable. But since they are ancient books from 1,000 years ago, the merit points required are particularly high, a total of 3,000 merit points." 3,000. She only had 2,800 merit points. Thinking for a moment, she pulled out the hairpin from her head, looked at it reluctantly, and said, "Commissioner Luo, this is a high-grade magical artifact hairpin. Can I exchange it for 200 merit points from you?" Luo Dengcheng was startled. He looked at the hairpin, a look of surprise on his face. "Such high quality? Looks like it's from the outer domain, enough to exchange for 1,000 merit points." Xianxia Cultivation shook her head and said, 200 is enough. I just want to exchange it for this stack of books. Commissioner Luo was stunned for a moment and said, "This hairpin is an old item. It has probably been with you for many years, hasn't it? Selling it to exchange for this stack of books, are you sure?" Xianxia took one last look at the hairpin in her hand. A trace of reluctance flashed in her eyes. This was given to her by a big brother when she left home alone years ago. She liked it very much. She always kept it with her. But now she was going to exchange it for a stack of books. "Exchange it," Xianxia said softly. The hairpin was left in the tent. The stack of books left with Xianxia in the hidden space. Liu Qingxian clicked her tongue in wonder, observing this mysterious space full of ancient war weapons. "There is no one here, so you can freely try out the two magic artifacts." Jiang Fan chuckled lightly. He found a corner for himself, took out the ancient book with the multicolored cover. After unsealing it, that terrifying pressure descended again. Jiang Fan's body swayed, nearly being overwhelmed and unable to sit steadily. The divinity transformation realm is truly like the existence of immortals on Earth. To think that 500 years after death, the dried blood left behind could still have such pressure. I can't imagine the divine pressure if a true divinity transformation expert stood in front of me. Jiang Fan clicked his tongue. Then he carefully opened the first page. Just like before, the multicolored light temporarily blocked his vision, and then it immediately dispersed. The pattern of 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain appeared. However, the first page had only one pattern, no other text, leaving one at a loss. On turning the subsequent pages, each page also only had the pattern of the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain. This, Jiang Fan's heart sank. Could it be that he spent an entire 10,000 merit points just to exchange for a useless thing? Pondering for a moment, he took the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain out from the heavenly thunder stone. As soon as the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain appeared, the pattern on the book immediately began to change, only to see the pattern of the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain on the first page gradually blurred, melting into 5 colors of ink. Then, as if it had a life of its own, it wriggled, gathering on the paper to form 4 big characters. 5 elements divine skill. Jiang Fan finally relaxed. An uncontrollable excitement shone in his eyes. As expected, this book concealed a hidden secret. Not only ordinary methods, he could not see through the multicolored light, nor see the pattern. Even if someone luckily saw the pattern, they would need the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain beside them to fully uncover the secret of the pattern. To obtain the inheritance of the 5 elements divine monarch. The cultivation technique and the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain, both were indispensable. He impatiently turned to the second page. The pattern on it also melted immediately, reforming into new text. Void Flow 5 Forces, a heaven-level technique. Namely, Void Flow Sky Force, Void Flow Earth Force, Void Flow Thunder Force, Void Flow Fire Force, Void Flow Wind Force. Jiang Fan's heart raced. It was another heaven-level technique, adding the Dayan Sword Array on the Void Ancient Tree and the Heavenly Thunder 6 parts in the Thunder Extension Order. This was the third heaven-level technique Jiang Fan had come into contact with. However, the former required Jiang Fan to break through to the nascent soul realm to be able to pick it from the ancient tree. The Heavenly Thunder 6 parts. In the Thunder Extension Order, Jiang Fan had only accessed one part, a fragment of Cloud Shadow. Only Void Flow 5 Forces in front of him was the complete version that Jiang Fan had. He eagerly turned to the next page. It was said that ancient immortals created heaven and earth. Their body became the earth, blood became rivers and seas, breath became wind and clouds, bones became minerals, eyes became sun and moon, hair became countless trees. Although I am as insignificant as an ant, I aim to emulate the resolve of ancient immortals. After exploring for 100 years, ashamed of my limited talent, I ultimately could not achieve the power of ancient immortals to transform my body into heaven and earth. I only created a minor technique for future generations' amusement. This technique is named Void Flow 5 Forces, which combines the 5 powers of wind, thunder, fire, earth, and sky into one. The heaven possesses the power of 5 elements. Likewise, my body has 5 forces continually circulating, forming a small heaven. Jiang Fan was stunned. What kind of spirit did the 5 elements divine monarch possess? To want to emulate the ancient immortals who created heaven and earth, to transform himself into heaven and earth. Moreover, even though he failed, he had succeeded in cultivating the power of 5 elements within his body in the process. The 5 powers continually circulated in his body, forming a small heaven inside him. Corresponding with the large heaven outside, the small heaven inside the body was called void heaven. The flowing 5 forces were called void flow 5 forces. What an extraordinary genius. To be able to create such a defiant cultivation technique, he read on. The void flow 5 forces, mastering any one of them grants mastery over the world. The one who masters all 5 forces, achieving great success in void heaven. When there are no saints, he is invincible in the world. Thump, thump, Jiang Fan felt his heart pounding wildly. The power of void flow 5 forces was far beyond his expectation. As long as one mastered one of them, one would have invincible strength to dominate one side of the world. His mouth was dry. He couldn't help but continue reading. But after reading through, his face darkened a bit. Each of the void flow 5 forces must be cultivated to great success, requiring the cultivation of the origin of that element: wind, thunder, fire, earth, sky. Currently, he had only cultivated the Thunder series technique, and he had cultivated it quite well. Sufficiently for Lei Zhenhai to try to recruit him into the Heavenly Thunder sect. However, Jiang Fan's attainment in the Thunder path did not even count as great success, much less to talk about the origin. This heaven-level technique truly isn't meant for human cultivation, Jiang Fan said bitterly. However, it had been acquired with great difficulty, so he would try cultivating it, with his comprehension ability. This heaven-level technique was still extremely difficult to digest. It took a full 3 days and nights. He finally understood the principle of the 5 forces. With a hint of enlightenment, he tried to cultivate the void flow thunder force. The violent power of thunder and lightning in his body became surprisingly tame after the cultivation technique operated. It gathered around his dantian. Then, with a thought from Jiang Fan, the thunder and lightning turned into a form of chi force. Just like human strength, it became a part of his body, no longer an external force. Go, with a tip of his toe, a miraculous scene appeared. He instantly transformed into lightning, teleporting 200 feet away. Jiang Fan looked back at the spot where he had stood, eyes full of disbelief. The first layer of Heavenly Thunder 6 parts cloud shadow at perfection can only teleport 100 feet. Moreover, it requires a large amount of thunder and lightning force to do so. After turning thunder and lightning into a form of my own strength, the effects of using thunder techniques are doubled, and the consumption of thunder power reduced by 10 times. With Jiang Fan's current thunder and lightning reserves, he could not even teleport 100 feet with cloud shadow. If he teleported 50 feet, he would stop when the thunder and lightning force was exhausted. Now it was different. The power of thunder and lightning became his own force, saving much. Enough for him to use the enhanced cloud shadow 10 consecutive times. Furthermore, it was not only the effect of cloud shadow that was doubled. The power of Thunder Dragon Lightning Leg from 3 Pure Thunder Shadow and 5 Thunder True Heaven Palm all doubled. Jiang Fan felt excited. I can't believe I've only scratched the surface of Void Flow Thunder Force. Far from achieving great success, yet already having such an effect. To master one force is to master the world. That isn't an exaggeration at all. Little did he know. In the distant outer domain, an ancient palace suspended in the sky, 5 colored heavenly thunders as the ground. Suspended sun and moon as the sky, countless stars as tiles. A row of peerless experts stood respectfully on both sides of the palace, floating in the void. At this moment, in the deep palace, a pair of eyes suddenly opened and closed. Terrifying thunderbolts shot out from the eyes. Who is cultivating void flow thunder force? The voice was like heavenly might, trembling the galaxy. The powerful beings outside the hall knelt in fear, one knee pressed to the ground. Young Emperor, calm your anger. Inside the ancient palace, the owner of the thunder eyes spoke indifferently. Fang Zini. Whoosh, a terrifying figure instantaneously appeared before the grand hall. He stood 7 feet tall, his form imposing, a black cloak flapping loudly in the strong wind. Behind his head, a golden divine halo glowed with a serene light. The divine halo. Only those in the divinity transformation realm possessed it. Upon his appearance, the powerful beings on either side revered and trembled. None dared to look up. Feng Zini, venerate Zini. A formidable figure in the divinity transformation realm, he knelt on one knee, lowering his head towards the ancient palace. Your subordinate is here, awaiting the young emperor's command. Indifference and coldness echoed from within the ancient palace. In a corner of Taikang, someone is cultivating the void flow thunder force. Find him and kill him. Feng Zini replied, yes, as he was about to leave. The young emperor spoke again. Retrieve the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. Yes. Feng Zini turned into an illusion and vanished on the spot. From the ancient palace came a detached murmur. In this world, only one person is allowed to cultivate the void flow thunder force. And that person is me. Boundary Mountain. Jiang Fan had been cultivating the void flow thunder force for several more days, but no further progress was made. It seems I need to comprehend more thunder techniques to cultivate more void flow thunder force. Jiang Fan sighed lightly, but thunder path techniques were not so easy to cultivate. Whether it was the 3 pure thunder shadow or the heavenly thunder 6 parts, they all required immense power of thunder and lightning to support. The heavenly tribulations in the sky were absolutely beyond Jiang Fan's small frame to endure. Any random heavenly tribulation could completely obliterate him. He needed items such as the feathers of a silver-winged thunderbird, heavenly thunderstones, or thunderstruck wood containing residual heavenly thunder. But these were things that could only be encountered by luck. Fan, a senior sister is looking for you. Liu Qingxian's call came from the cave entrance. Jiang Fan had been in bitter cultivation these past few days. Liu Qingxian, having tried out 2 magic artifacts, dared not stay inside to disturb him. She had gone to Boundary Mountain to assist various disciples in setting up defenses in preparation for the great battle between the 2 clans. Now she suddenly brought someone, senior sister. Jiang Fan was puzzled. Liu Qingxian knew he was cultivating and wouldn't disturb him unless necessary, stepping out of the cave. His gaze shifted, and he saw a seductive woman in an elegant burgundy dress, her body alluring, her eyes charming and affectionate. Jiang Fan hurriedly approached and pulled Liu Qingxian away. Then he thoroughly checked her over. "What are you doing?" Liu Qingxian was flustered and embarrassed by Jiang Fan's actions. Despite her protests, Jiang Fan forcibly checked her whole body. Only after confirming there was nothing wrong did he half-shield her behind himself. He coldly stared at the woman before him, saying, "Qingxian, stay away from this venomous woman in the future. She is not a good person." The visitor was none other than Wu Manyu. "Junior brother Jiang, you wound senior sister's heart by saying such things. Senior sister came back from Sunset City just to see you." Wu Manyu clutched her ample bosom with her left hand, resting her chin on her right. She wore an aggrieved expression, looking pitifully charming. Liu Qingxian was momentarily stunned, then said doubtfully, "Fan, is there some misunderstanding between you and senior sister Wu?" "Senior sister Wu is a good person." She spared no expense to relay the news, allowing Sunset City to promptly learn about the war at Boundary Mountain. Everyone admired Wu Manyu's dedication. She sacrificed much to deliver urgent military information. Few others could do the same. Jiang Fan snorted. He had nothing to say about this matter, but he knew Wu Manyu's nature well. "No matter what she has done, it's best to stay away from her," Jiang Fan said. Liu Qingxian pondered. Jiang Fan rarely spoke ill of others. If he opposed Wu Manyu, there must be a reason. She replied without hesitation. "All right, I'll be careful." Wu Manyu noticed this. Clicking her tongue, she said, "Junior brother Jiang sure knows how to sweet-talk girls. The 9 sects' #1 beauty, junior sister Liu, obeys you so well. Whatever you say, she believes it." Liu Qingxian furrowed her brow. "I don't need Fan to sweet-talk me. I trust his character." "Is that so?" Wu Manyu's lips curled into an amused smile. "I heard junior brother Jiang wept sorrowfully, holding Xia Caoj at the end of the Boundary Mountain battle. If he likes you so much, did he ever cry for you?" Liu Qingxian's body trembled. She could hardly believe it. Jiang Fan wept for another woman? Bitter sorrow welled up inside her. She struggled to maintain her composure, saying, "Fan's feelings for me are genuine." "That's enough. Stop trying to sow discord." Wu Manyu's enchanting eyes seemed to see through people's hearts. She laughed. "Then why do you feel sad now?" Liu Qingxian snapped back. "Who feels sad, caught and now angry out of shame? He, he, he." Wu Manyu's laughter was unending, her chest shaking in arcs as her arms crossed. Liu Qingxian clenched her fists, her eyes burned with anger. Yet she was powerless to act. Jiang Fan patted her hand and said calmly, "What she said is true." "What?" Liu Qingxian bit her lips slightly. A pang of pain pricked her heart. He could have withheld that, but then Jiang Fan added, "But she only told half the story. Xia Caoj saved me, blocking a fatal blow from the demon moon priest. I thought she had died, hence I was distraught." "Oh, so that's how it was." Liu Qingxian's heart cleared up instantly, as if the clouds had parted to reveal the moon. Jiang Fan was such a kind-hearted person. Someone died for him. How could he not be sad? But in Wu Manyu's truncated description, It had turned into a romantic entanglement between Jiang Fan and Xianxia Cultivation. "You vicious woman!" Liu Qingxian exclaimed angrily. She understood now why Jiang Fan called this woman venomous. A few words and she was emotionally manipulated. This person was truly terrifying. "Vicious is as vicious does," Wu Manyu shrugged with a smile. "I was never a good person, but your man isn't much better than me. You'd better watch out for him too," still trying to sow discord. Liu Qingxian fumed, grasping her sword hilt, her eyes gleaming coldly. Jiang Fan waved his hand to stop her. Wu Manyu's wicked methods were not something Liu Qingxian could easily counter. "Wu Manyu, you came to find me, not just to sow discord between me and Liu Qingxian, right?" This woman never wasted time on trivial matters. Wu Manyu's smile was as charming as ever, laughing. "Junior brother Jiang understands me. If you don't mind, I could be your woman too. Senior sister has never let a man touch her. Consider it your gain," seeing Jiang Fan's impassive face unfazed by her teasing. She wasn't upset. "Fine, with the 9-sex #1 beauty beside you, the novelty is still fresh. When you get tired of her, come find senior sister." Just as Liu Qingxian was about to lose control and strike this shameless woman, the woman's expression suddenly turned serious, saying, "Junior brother Jiang, Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion assigned me a task. A special action team has been formed. I hope you can join." Jiang Fan refused without hesitation. "Not interested." Teaming up with Wu Manyu meant the greatest danger could be her, not the enemy. Wu Manyu, unsurprised, said, "Before you refuse, why not hear the reward for this mission? I believe you'll find it tempting." Wu Manyu was full of confidence. "If we succeed, all the disciples who complete the mission will be able to go to the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion and cultivate at the place where the Pavilion Master broke through nascent soul once." Jiang Fan frowned. "What kind of reward was that?" Wu Manyu said meaningfully, "When the Pavilion Master broke through nascent soul, he received a baptism from heaven and earth. Even many years later, a small amount of the mystical baptismal energy still remains there. For martial artists at the 9th layer of core formation perfection, it is a treasure land to comprehend the heavenly tribulation and increase the chance of breaking through. For martial artists like us, at the initial or middle period of core formation, it is a blessed land to receive the baptism. Perhaps we might even break through a realm." Jiang Fan clicked his tongue. The place where a nascent soul expert broke through was truly magical. How powerful was a nascent soul expert? This reward indeed tempted him. However, the danger of teaming up with Wu Manyu could not be ignored. Seeing Jiang Fan's hesitation, Wu Manyu had to confess, "Of course, there's also danger. When the Pavilion Master broke through nascent soul, he was struck by heavenly tribulation thunder. There are still some remnants of the dangerous tribulation thunder there. But with the elders of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion protecting us, the problem shouldn't be too big." "What? There were remnants of tribulation thunder?" Still hesitant, Jiang Fan decisively asked, "When do we set off?" Wu Manyu was stunned. Why did Jiang Fan agree so quickly when she mentioned danger? Was he even a bit eager? She looked at him suspiciously. Her intuition told her that Jiang Fan had some other idea, but it was best if Jiang Fan agreed. This mission was not very safe, and they needed a strong ally. Jiang Fan was undoubtedly an essential candidate. 3 days later. As for the mission details, it's classified for now and will only be revealed when we set off. Wu Manyu glanced at Liu Qingxian and spoke cautiously. 3 days later, Jiang Fan nodded slightly and said, "Is it very dangerous?" Wu Manyu didn't answer directly. "Anyway, prepare as much as you can." After saying that, she twisted her waist like a water snake and hummed a cheerful tune as she left. "Fan, are you really going?" Liu Qingxian asked with some concern. She didn't want Jiang Fan to face great danger again. Jiang Fan pondered, "Don't worry too much. The missions issued by the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion are always considered according to the disciple's strength. Unless there's an unexpected accident, there is rarely fatal danger. Extremely dangerous scenarios like the Boundary Mountain battle are even less likely to happen." Liu Qingxian thought for a moment. Her uneasy heart settled slightly. Indeed, the tasks were tailored to the disciples. The difficulty would match their strength. Otherwise, the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion itself would grieve over losing so many elite disciples. "All right, then you prepare well these days. I won't disturb you." Liu Qingxian agreed reluctantly. Returning to Boundary Mountain, Jiang Fan found that in just a few days, Boundary Mountain had undergone a tremendous change. Martial artists from various sects gathered here, numbering in the thousands. Each of them possessed considerable strength. The peak of Boundary Mountain was already crowded, like a bustling market. After saying goodbye to Jiang Fan, Liu Qingxian dived into the crowd and was never seen again. So many people, and they're still not all here. He felt a surge of great confidence for the coming big battle. At the same time, the slopes of Boundary Mountain were being arranged with various large-scale war weapons, specifically designed to counter large demon beasts. Compared to hastily dealing with the dead corpse army last time, this time the human clan would be fully prepared. The demon race wishing to attack Boundary Mountain easily again was a foolish dream. Suddenly, Jiang Fan's eyes lit up. With the impending battle and the numerous elders and disciples on the peak, a market had spontaneously formed in a corner. Disciples set up stalls, hoping to trade for what they needed. For the Boundary Mountain battle, Jiang Fan had almost run out of revitalizing pills, and there were only 5 replenishing spirit pills left. All the 3-step drunks were used up. He urgently needed to restock. He saw many stalls offering ingredients for revitalizing pills and 3-step drunk. Immediately, he took out various spiritual meats and demon beast materials he had prepared before and exchanged for enough alchemy materials. The only pity was, the moon-viewing Ganoderma needed for replenishing spirit pills was too rare, unlike last time when he encountered Yue Mingzhu and happened to find one. Suddenly, Jiang Fan's vision darkened. A pair of warm, soft jade hands covered his eyes. At the same time, a slightly playful voice said, "Guess who I am?" Jiang Fan smiled without hesitation. Yue Mingzhu. Not fun at all. Yue Mingzhu, who was immediately recognized, let go of her hands. Jiang Fan turned around and looked. A beautiful face of an 18-year-old appeared before his eyes. Her skin was like congealed fat, moist and white as snow. Her nose was high and her lips were as red as flower petals. Her bright, amorous eyes seemed to speak. At this moment she pouted, looking dissatisfied at being found out so quickly. "I didn't expect you to remember my voice so clearly. You recognized it right away." Though she said so, her eyes couldn't hide the joy. She had deliberately changed her voice. Unexpectedly, Jiang Fan recognized it without a second thought. What did this mean? It meant Jiang Fan had her voice and appearance deeply imprinted in his heart. "Not really. Among the women I know, the only one who can approach behind me without a sound is you," Jiang Fan answered. With his realm improving and his horizons broadening, Yue Mingzhu gave him an increasingly incongruous feeling. Sometimes he couldn't help but wonder if Yue Mingzhu was really a disciple. Now he had reached the 3rd level of core formation. Yue Mingzhu could still appear silently behind him without being noticed. It was too weird. Knowing that Jiang Fan recognized her not because he missed her, Yue Mingzhu stomped her foot in embarrassment. "Jiang Fan?" Jiang Fan was speechless. "What's wrong again? You always get angry for no reason." Yue Mingzhu puffed her cheeks, crossing her arms at her chest, her small foot tapping the ground. She looked like she wanted to pry open Jiang Fan's head and see what was inside. This guy, why didn't he understand women at all? Suddenly, she noticed several familiar elders approaching. She quickly composed herself. She cleared her throat. "I heard you joined the Special Action Squad." Wasn't it supposed to be classified? "How did Yue Mingzhu know?" he asked suspiciously. "Who told you?" Did a sect master need to inquire? Yue Mingzhu didn't answer him. Instead, she said seriously, "This mission is not easy. Come with me, I'll give you something to ensure your safety." She headed towards a less crowded part of the Great Wall. Jiang Fan thought for a moment before catching up and walking side by side with her. At this time, a group of flying birds approached from the horizon. These were the latest birds tamed by the Spirit Beast sect, sent to Boundary Mountain for the battle. On the leading bird, Yuan Jiyu's wistful eyes scanned the crowd below. "Damn Jiang Fan! I helped you Xianxia so much, and now she's reached the 9th layer of foundation establishment. I must settle the score with him." Gong Kei, who was sitting nearby, had a complicated look in her eyes when she heard Jiang Fan's name. The once obscure young disciple was now a famous young leader of the 9 sect land. Give him time, and he would surely become a shining star in the 9 sect land. "Ah, I found him!" Yuan Jiyu suddenly screamed, pointing towards Jiang Fan heading to the Great Wall. Gong Kei quickly looked over. She immediately saw Jiang Fan's familiar back and felt inexplicably happy. "Master, let's go find him." Yuan Jiyu couldn't wait. Gong Kei was about to speak, but memories of some intimate moments with Jiang Fan flashed through her mind. After a moment of silence, she shook her head. "I won't go. You can find him yourself later." She'd better have less contact with Jiang Fan to avoid evoking regrets from 10 years ago. Suddenly, she noticed the girl beside Jiang Fan. The girl clasped her hands behind her back, walking with a bounce in her step. Sometimes she turned to say something to Jiang Fan, smiling brightly. Sometimes she stopped to walk alongside him. She gave off a feeling of innocence and vivacity, carefree and lively. But this made Gong Kei suddenly stand up. Kei exclaimed in surprise, "What is she doing beside Jiang Fan? What does she want? Why is she so close to Jiang Fan?" And laughing and chatting. At her age, being so intimate with a junior, isn't she afraid of gossip? Yuan Jiu, who was beside her, was stunned. She was both surprised at the intimate relationship between Jiang Fan and the Desire's sect master, and surprised at Gong Kei's reaction. The sect master, who was always indifferent to worldly affairs, was actually anxious. But what was she anxious about? Jiang Fan can be with whoever he wants. What does it have to do with the sect master? Gong Kei frowned. She kept her eyes on Yue Mingzhu, her gaze becoming even more composed. "Jiu, you go back first. I must watch Jiang Fan so that Desire's sect master doesn't do anything inappropriate." Saying this, she jumped onto another bird and chased after Jiang Fan and Yue Mingzhu. Yuan Jiu stuck out her tongue and whispered, "Whether the Desire's sect master will do something inappropriate is unknown. But what you are doing now, master, is definitely inappropriate." Watching Jiang Fan. What is Gong Kei to Jiang Fan? Not a relative, nor a sect elder, and not even in a romantic relationship. Why meddle in other people's affairs? Suddenly she realized something, shivering with fright. "Forget it, it's none of my business. I don't dare to ask, and I don't dare to say a word either." Somewhere along the Great Wall. There was no one around. Yue Mingzhu finally stopped, her expression becoming relaxed and joyful. Facing the mountain breeze, she stretched her arms comfortably. Her dress tightened, outlining her slender silhouette clearly. Long and snow-white legs, pert buttocks, a waist as slender as a willow branch, a full and proud chest, and perfectly contoured cheekbones with a defined jawline. Jiang Fan, observing her secretly, found Yue Mingzhu looking at him sidelong. She rolled her eyes at him, saying, "Courageous eyes but timid heart." Jiang Fan's old face turned red. Ever since being interrupted while getting intimate with Liu Qingxian at the Great Wall, a burning ember seemed to have ignited in his heart. Now caught sneaking a look by Yue Mingzhu, he felt rather embarrassed. Little did he know, Yue Mingzhu couldn't help but raise the corners of her lips. She muttered under her breath, "Go ahead and look, I'm not stopping you." At this moment, there were only the two of them on the Great Wall. Besides the sound of the wind, there were no other noises. How could Jiang Fan not hear her close muttering? He looked at Yue Mingzhu in shock, feeling even more uncomfortable. He cleared his throat. "Miss Yue, what do you intend to give me?" Just as well. He also had some things he wanted to give Yue Mingzhu. Yue Mingzhu then recalled the important matter. She took out a jade bottle filled with pink powder from her sleeve. "Take this. If you encounter danger that you can't handle, scatter it. But only use it when you are at your wit's end and intend to perish together with the enemy." She stuffed it into Jiang Fan's hand. Jiang Fan curiously wanted to open the jade bottle, but Yue Mingzhu hastily stopped him. "Don't open it," she said awkwardly. "This is an aphrodisiac called Six Harmonies Immortal. Its effect is very domineering, even those in the nascent soul realm can't fully resist it. Once affected, you'll fall into that state and be unable to extricate yourself. If not resolved in time, it will lead to meridian burst and death. You can use it to threaten the opponent in danger. No one would dare to underestimate its effect lightly." Jiang Fan felt deeply embarrassed. So it was this kind of thing. However, the effect was astonishing. Even a nascent soul cultivator couldn't fully resist it. That was rather terrifying. As for the way to resolve the effect, it naturally referred to intercourse between a man and a woman. Truly something to perish together with the enemy. He felt a mix of emotions. If sprinkled, both the enemy and he would be affected. If they were of the opposite sex, there was a chance of resolution. If of the same sex, then they would just wait to die together. Yue Mingzhu, feeling embarrassed, said, all right, quickly put it away. In our Desire sect, very few people use it. Don't think less of me because of it." She had thought of giving Jiang Fan many things. But Jiang Fan possessed many divine skills and life-saving cards, even more than she did. After much thought, only this remained. She couldn't help but worry that Jiang Fan might think her an improper woman because of it. Jiang Fan smiled slightly. "You treat me well, and if I belittled you, wouldn't that be ungrateful?" He took out the white bone necklace of the demon moon. He plucked several crystals from it, and grabbed Yue Mingzhu's small hand, putting the crystals in her palm. "This is the defensive magical treasure of the demon moon priest. When in danger, crush one, and it will cover your body with a layer of crystal, blocking the enemy's attack." It can roughly block an 8th layer core formation attack. Xianxia Cultivation had used it to survive a full-strength attack from the demon moon, leaving half her life. So its defensive effect could safely block an 8th layer core formation attack. Yue Mingzhu's eyes sparkled with joy. For her, defense crystals of 8th layer core formation were of no use, but it was given by Jiang Fan. Personally given. Yue Mingzhu felt sweet in her heart and accepted it openly. She then took out a jade box, dumped out the rather precious heavenly materials and earthly treasures from it, and carefully put the crystals inside. Then she put the box into her sleeve for safekeeping. Jiang Fan picked up the heavenly materials and earthly treasures, clicking his tongue. "You are too wasteful, aren't you? These are worth a lot." Yue Mingzhu, with her hands behind her back, swung her head, saying shyly, "Not as valuable as your crystals," catching a hint of implied meaning. Jiang Fan's heartstrings were tugged, resonating deeply within him. He didn't know how to respond to this remark. Actually, their interactions were not that many. Even Jiang Fan didn't know her well. Between the two, it hadn't developed to the point of mutual affection yet. But he was afraid that rejecting her would disappoint Yue Mingzhu. As Jiang Fan pondered his words, there was a sudden noise in the sky. A bird flapped its wings, descending in a spiral. Yue Mingzhu's smile vanished. A hint of panic appeared. Jiang Fan was also stunned when he saw the graceful and dignified figure standing on the bird's back. He exclaimed in delight, "Sect Master Gong?" Since he had gone to the Spirit Beast sect for a mission, this was their first meeting. 3 months had passed. Gong Kei was still radiant. Her green dress fluttered like a lotus leaf in the breeze. Her fair, snow-like face was adorned with bright eyes. Her gaze at Jiang Fan was full of tenderness. She jumped off the bird. Her elegant and tall figure almost matched Jiang Fan's height. With hands folded gracefully in front of her abdomen, she smiled first. "You've grown taller." She examined Jiang Fan. Noticing carefully, Jiang Fan had matured and grown a bit taller, slowly becoming an adult. Jiang Fan felt warm inside. He was very grateful to Gong Kei in his heart. When he first joined Green Cloud sect, he was not favored, but Gong Kei always took care of him, more like a master than his actual master. She later invited him to the Spirit Beast sect. Unfortunately, he declined her good intentions. This made him always feel a little guilty toward her. "Sect Master Gong, you look younger." Jiang Fan also smiled as he observed her. The effect of the beauty cream had made Gong Kei's skin condition even better. She looked like she was just in her early 20s. Gong Kei smiled, her eyes moved lightly, shifting towards Yue Mingzhu. Jiang Fan quickly said, "Sect Master Gong, let me introduce you. This is my friend Yue Mingzhu. We've been through many dangers together. She is a trustworthy good friend." He introduced Yue Mingzhu without reservation, hoping she could also win Gong Kei's favor. Gong Kei looked deeply at Yue Mingzhu, her expression gradually becoming cold. "Yue Mingzhu? A trustworthy friend? Sect Master Yu, don't you feel ashamed to deceive a junior like this?" Yue Mingzhu lowered her head. She let out a long sigh. "Gong Kei, you really are annoying." She didn't dare to look into Jiang Fan's eyes, didn't dare to see his expression. Taking a deep breath, her voice lowered. "That's right. I am the Desire's sect master. Yue Mingzhu is my alias. I have been deceiving you, always pretending to be the same age as you. In fact, I am over 30 but fell for a junior. I am unprincipled, disregarding ethics, a woman deserving of public contempt. Is this enough?" After uttering the last 3 words, her fragrant shoulders trembled. A hot, glistening tear fell onto the snow at her feet, melting a deep pit in the thin layer of newly fallen snow. Gong Kei stood stunned. For the first time, she felt she was a bad person, had done something extremely wrong. What sin has Sect Master Yu committed? She only wanted to be with the one she loved. She too, like Gong Kei, was insecure about her age. That's why she concealed her identity, approached Jiang Fan under the name Yue Mingzhu. She carefully hid her unsightly side, merely to show the best version of herself in front of Jiang Fan. But Gong Kei exposed her. In front of Jiang Fan, in front of the one she cared about the most, laid bare all her weak points. With one sentence, destroyed all her hopes for the future, left her in despair. So despairing, she denied herself. At this moment, Yue Mingzhu had no place to hide. She lowered her head, began to walk away. Her tear-blurred vision made it hard to see the snow beneath her feet. She didn't want to look anymore. Wished she could disappear on the spot, vanish completely from the world, but after taking just 2 steps, a strong hand grabbed her arm. Jiang Fan's calm voice softly reached her ears. "Hey, so you really are the Desire's sect master. Turns out I wasn't wrong." Yue Mingzhu stopped, her voice hoarse. "You knew. Since when?" Jiang Fan chuckled, when you kept singing praises for the Desire's sect master. Back then I thought, who would praise someone so tirelessly? Unless that someone is herself. Yue Mingzhu felt even more ashamed. Turns out Jiang Fan had guessed long ago. Her tears flowed even more freely. Her heart filled with sorrow. She had become an unwitting clown, tirelessly performing her flaws for others. She covered her face, utterly ashamed. Turned to run away, but Jiang Fan's hand clung tightly to her arm. "Let me go. Is my embarrassment not enough for you?" Yue Mingzhu struggled to free her arm, but the more she struggled, the tighter Jiang Fan's grip became, until a soft sigh made her stop suddenly. "Whether Yue Mingzhu or the Desire's sect master, was it not you who gave me your only defensive magical treasure? Who tricked me into leaving, facing 2 war generals alone, nearly losing your life, was it not you? Meticulously preparing life-saving items for me, was it not you?" Yue Mingzhu's tears, like kites with broken strings, kept falling. Turns out Jiang Fan remembered everything she did, without missing a single thing. "Stop talking!" She wiped away her tears, but more welled up, blurring her vision. The tears seemed uncontrollable, constantly flowing out. Because with her identity exposed, there would be no more Yue Mingzhu. From now on, only the Desire's sect master and the disciple of the Green Cloud sect. There would be no more intersection between them. Suddenly, a warm hand reached out, wiping away her tears. Magically, her uncontrollable tears stopped. She looked up through her misty eyes, and Jiang Fan's gentle face came into view. His voice was tenderly piercing her heart. "Haven't you understood? Who you are doesn't matter. What matters is everything we shared together was real, and that's enough." Yue Mingzhu looked away, too ashamed to meet Jiang Fan's gaze, sobbing. "Don't you blame me for deceiving you?" Jiang Fan asked back. "Did you deceive me with malice?" Yue Mingzhu hurriedly said, "Of course not. I was just afraid you'd disdain me." "Disdain my age." Jiang Fan looked at her youthful 18-year-old face and couldn't help but laugh. "In another 10 years you will still be 18 and I will be nearly 30. Who would disdain whom then?" Yue Mingzhu, feeling inferior, said, "Don't comfort me. No matter how unchanging my appearance, my actual age is still 30, and you are only 18. The gap is too wide." Jiang Fan laughed. "Aren't we still friends? Does the age gap between friends matter?" Yue Mingzhu mocked herself. What she wanted was not a mere friendship. The age gap was truly an insurmountable chasm. She cared about it, and Jiang Fan would care even more. Gong Kei felt a bit bitter too. Her face gradually darkened, but Jiang Fan immediately added, "If it were a romantic relationship, we haven't yet reached that point. If we do, why would I care? Not to mention your body will always look 18, which is every man's dream of a celestial wife. Even if you truly were 30, isn't that the prime of a woman's life? I like both." "What?" Her cheeks flushed, heart pounding, she teasingly scolded. You always sweet-talk me." Jiang Fan, laughing, said, "That I can't prove. Unless we truly have that fate in the future and we come together." Yue Mingzhu stomped her foot in embarrassment. "What nonsense are you talking? Who wants to come together with you? Shameless." Her neck and cheeks reddened, but her misty eyes were bright. A heart shattered into 8 pieces began to mend. Turns out her deepest insecurity, her age, was not an issue to Jiang Fan. It was a prison of her own making, restraining herself. Her heart lightened like never before. Even Gong Kei beside them didn't dare to look into Jiang Fan's eyes as she used to. "Yue Mingzhu, we are still friends, trustworthy friends." Jiang Fan let go of her arm. Yue Mingzhu broke into a smile through her tears. Being friends was already satisfying, very satisfying. Just now, she was in such despair that the sky seemed to collapse. Thinking of this, she glared at Gong Kei viciously. "Disappointed, aren't you, Gong Kei? Jiang Fan did not disdain me." Gong Kei, feeling uncomfortable, explained, "I didn't mean anything else. Just worried you might have ill intentions towards Jiang Fan. Didn't expect you were truly sincere about Jiang Fan." She also felt wronged. Who would have thought the Desire's sect master, who seemed to play around, would actually be moved? She thought the Desire's sect master was just toying with Jiang Fan. Yue Mingzhu, with her cunning mind, sensed something wasn't right. She put her hands behind her back and circled around Gong Kei, observing her from head to toe, making Gong Kei feel uneasy. "What are you looking at?" Yue Mingzhu, with her hand under her chin and a playful look in her eyes. "I am wondering why you care about Jiang Fan's matters. Jiang Fan is neither your disciple nor your sect member, not even your legitimate junior. Even if you're worried I might do something to Jiang Fan, you should have advised the people of the Green Cloud sect, right? Why would you step in yourself?" Gong Kei still maintained her elegant posture with her hands crossed in front of her lower abdomen. Her gaze remained calm. Only her pinky finger moved slightly unintentionally, betraying a hint of inner tension. I have met Jiang Fan twice. I admire his talent. Is it not okay to take care of him a bit? On the surface, she remained calm. What kind of person was Yue Mingzhu? The emotions between men and women, she had seen many and experienced many. How could she not notice the subtle changes in Gong Kei? She laughed out loud as if she had discovered a new continent. Ha ha ha, no way could it be that the pure and chaste sect master Gong of Spirit Beast sect has fallen for a junior. Gong Kei was clearly flustered. She yelled softly, "Stop talking nonsense. I am not like you so shameless." Yue Mingzhu laughed even louder. Ha ha ha, Jiang Fan, look at what I have discovered for you. Sect Master Gong really likes you. Jiang Fan was speechless. He quickly vindicated Gong Kei, saying, "Don't talk nonsense. Gong Kei is an elder. She treats me only with the care of an elder for a junior. Don't ruin her reputation." But Yue Mingzhu was full of excitement. She chuckled and said, "Do you know when people will get anxious? When facing lies, they won't be anxious because they know it's false. Only the truth, like a sharp knife, will make you anxious. She was anxious just now. Believe me, Gong Kei really likes you." Yue Mingzhu seemed like she had discovered a new continent. Being the only sect master who liked Jiang Fan worried her somewhat about the gossip. Now it was good. Another sect master had fallen. She now had a companion. How could she not be excited? Gong Kei said angrily, "Sect master you, watch your words. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." Yue Mingzhu crossed her hands behind her back, saying smugly, "Did I say anything wrong? Dare to say you came here to expose me not due to jealousy. We are sect masters, but also humans with emotions and desires. No need to avoid your own heart. Isn't it better to be straightforward like me?" Gong Kei snorted. "I am not as shameless as you." Although Jiang Fan didn't mind the age difference, Gong Kei still couldn't let go of her dignity as a sect master. A dignified sect master falling for a junior. If this spread out, how would she continue to live? Jiang Fan found Yue Mingzhu, who feared nothing, quite a headache. He said, "Yue Mingzhu, stop it. I believe sect master Gong's words." Yue Mingzhu, however, relentlessly pursued the matter. Gong Kei had embarrassed her. How could she let Gong Kei off easily? Whatever it took, she would embarrass her once today. She laughed softly. "Jiang Fan, you don't understand women. Women are often contradictory creatures. To know her true feelings, don't just listen to what she says, watch what she does. Whether she has feelings for you, I can test it." Gong Kei turned coldly, walked towards the flying beast without looking back. "Boring, take your time playing. This sect doesn't carry on." Seeing her try to escape, Yue Mingzhu's smile became even more meaningful. "Sect Master Gong, do you know how I and Jiang Fan met?" Gong Kei continued walking steadily towards the flying beast. "I fell into a 10,000-foot cliff, almost dying. Jiang Fan saved me. He stripped off my clothes to save me. Except for my belly band, he saw and touched me all over." Gong Kei suddenly stopped, hesitated for a moment, but eventually didn't turn back, continuing to walk forward, coldly saying, "Why tell me these things? Moreover, saving someone is just a contingency." Yue Mingzhu smiled sweetly. "Then what about the copper coin of 9th layer core formation defense Jiang Fan gave me? Since you take care of him so much, he should have given you something too, right?" The hands Gong Kei had crossed in front of her lower abdomen suddenly clenched tightly. She tried to keep her voice calm. "He recognized you as a friend. Giving some treasures is nothing special." Yue Mingzhu wouldn't let go. "Jiang Fan has been very good to me. He also gave me a clump of 1,000-year-old spiritual meat, which helped me break through to the 9th layer of core formation. My cultivation is higher than yours now. From now on, you should call me senior." Comparisons are usually the scariest. The Spirit Beast sect and the Desires sect were neighboring sects with completely different cultivation methods. One sect focused on purity, spending the whole year with spirit beasts. The other sect focused on cultivating one's heart and the practice of dual cultivation between men and women. Both sects looked down upon each other while secretly comparing. Now, Yue Mingzhu's cultivation had surpassed Gong Kei's. With Jiang Fan's help, Gong Kei couldn't remain calm but still tried to control her emotions. She snorted coldly. "He can help whoever he likes. It has nothing to do with me." Her heart already held much grievance. Hadn't she been sincere enough towards Jiang Fan? But that little scoundrel had turned around to help her nemesis. Yue Mingzhu added fuel to the fire, delivering the final blow. "I'm glad you think that way. Jiang Fan and I are close enough that he accepted the 6 harmonies immortal from me. Maybe the next time we meet will be for our wedding ceremony." How could Gong Kei not know what the 6 harmonies immortal was? She turned around in a mix of urgency and anger. She yelled, "Jiang Fan, are you really intending to be with this demoness?" Jiang Fan was stunned. Yue Mingzhu's misleading tricks were no less than Wu Manyu's, something meant for saving lives. In Yue Mingzhu's words, it turned into something suggesting intimacy. Before he could explain, Yue Mingzhu laughed nonstop. "Sect Master Gong, if you don't stop it, Jiang Fan will be mine. You know the methods of the desire sect well." Gong Kei couldn't hold back anymore. Her face was icy. "Stay away from Jiang Fan." Yue Mingzhu ran behind Jiang Fan. Resting her chin on his shoulder, she blinked her fox-like cunning eyes at Gong Kei, with a face full of provocation. "You're asking for it?" Gong Kei could no longer bear it. With a wave of her sleeve, swarms of spirit bees flew out, buzzing towards Yue Mingzhu. Jiang Fan's expression changed. "Why were they fighting?" he quickly said. "Sect Master Gong. Wait, let's talk this out." Yue Mingzhu was not to be trifled with. She was now at the 9th layer of core formation, while Gong Kei was at the 8th layer. If they really fought, Gong Kei would surely suffer. He had to stop them to prevent Gong Kei from getting hurt. However, in Gong Kei's eyes, this appeared to protect Yue Mingzhu. Her heart instantly filled with pain and anger, she yelled, "Jiang Fan, I have treated you well and this is how you treat me, giving this woman everything good. She insults me and you protect her. You heartless man, I will beat you too, ha ha ha." Yue Mingzhu laughed so hard she almost couldn't close her mouth. "Gong Kei, your true self is finally revealed, calling him a heartless man. Ha ha ha." Jiang Fan touched his nose. Yue Mingzhu turned out to be right. But when did this happen? How had he not sensed Gong Kei's feelings at all? Seeing her approach in a mix of shame and anger, he quickly said, "Sect Master Gong, stay calm. Don't be fooled anymore." Yue Mingzhu tilted her head, revealing a smug expression. Gong Kei suddenly woke up. "Wait, what did I just say? How could I say that? Oh my God, I actually called Jiang Fan heartless in front of him. Wouldn't that be admitting my feelings towards him from the bottom of my heart?" Her exquisite face became visibly red. Her eyes flickered, avoiding Jiang Fan's gaze with guilt. She glared at Yue Mingzhu in embarrassment and anger. "You wicked woman!" She understood now. Yue Mingzhu had fallen into Jiang Fan's allure. Not wanting to face the world's strange looks alone, she pulled Gong Kei down with her. Yue Mingzhu twirled the hair hanging over her chest with her fingers, smiling sweetly. "Aren't you coming to meet our husband? From now on, we will be sisters serving the same husband." Her husband, what kind of nonsense is this? Gong Kei only felt it was unbearable. She stomped her foot and turned around to leave, saying angrily, "You filthy couple, enjoy yourselves." Yue Mingzhu chuckled, "Sure." She then turned to Jiang Fan and said coquettishly, "Jiang Lang, I gave you the 6 harmonies immortal, the treasure of the desire sect. Aren't you giving me just a few crystals in return? I want something else. Like our baby." Gong Kei, who was about to leave, was hit where it hurt the most. She angrily walked back. She grabbed Jiang Fan's hand and stuffed a jade bottle into it. "What is the 6 harmonies immortal worth? Is this the best you can do to threaten Jiang Fan?" Jiang Fan was at a loss for words. Gong Kei was too innocent, wasn't she? A few words from Yue Mingzhu and she was completely controlled. He quickly said, "Don't fall for Yue Mingzhu's trick. She's deliberately provoking you." Saying that, he tried to return the jade bottle. Gong Kei glanced at Yue Mingzhu, who was grinning, but did not take it back. She stared deeply at Jiang Fan and said, "Since I was forced to reveal it by this demoness, hiding it any longer is pointless. Yes, like Yue Mingzhu, I've developed inappropriate feelings for you, a junior, but the Spirit Beast sect is not the Desire sect. The Desire sect is rebellious, and people from outside understand that. But the Spirit Beast sect has, since its founding, kept strict monastic rules, avoiding entanglements with men. As the sect master, I must set an example for the disciples. I dare not take that step, so pretend that nothing happened today." Jiang Fan quickly cupped his hands. "Sect Master Gong, you worry too much. I wouldn't dare to reach for someone beyond my status." That was what Gong Kei wanted to hear. But hearing Jiang Fan actually say it, she felt a sharp pain. "You," she said with a saddened voice. Yue Mingzhu rolled her eyes heavily. She grabbed Jiang Fan's hand with one hand and Gong Kei's hand with the other, putting their hands together. "Such nonsense. Gong Kei, would the Spirit Beast sect stop functioning without you? So many Supreme Elders and Elders, one more or less of you wouldn't make a difference. Just resign from the sect master position and everything will be solved." "Shut up." Gong Kei hated Yue Mingzhu to death. The current situation was all thanks to her. Yue Mingzhu shrugged. "If you're really reluctant to give up the position, you could just do what I do." Be sect master in one role and stay with Jiang Fan in another. No delays. Gong Kei didn't want to talk to her anymore. It's not that she was attached to the sect master's position, but she had to live up to her late master's training and assume the responsibilities of a sect master. She had been tired of the role for a long time. Jiang Fan let go of their hands. He said, Mingzhu Kai Yi, thank you for your affection, but I think we know too little about each other. Let's start as friends. Yue Mingzhu shrugged. I don't mind. I have plenty of time anyway. Gong Kei also breathed a slight sigh of relief. Let's leave it at that for now. Giving each other some buffer time, future fate would be left for the future to decide. Jiang Fan also felt a weight lifted. He then had time to look at the jade bottle Gong Kei had given him. Inside was a bottle of bright red blood. Even through the jade bottle, the powerful demon power within could be felt. Demon beast blood? Jiang Fan asked. Gong Kei gently nodded. Aren't you a body refiner? This blood belonged to the old demon emperor. It's a holy object for body refining. The old demon emperor. That late-stage nascent soul, the tiger demon who had peeked into the divinity transformation realm. Its essence blood was definitely a treasure for body refiners. It was said that Kong Yuanba had requested this item from Gong Kei many times, but was always refused by her. But now she was giving it to Jiang Fan for free. This is too precious. Jiang Fan quickly tried to return it. Gong Kei softly said, keep it. I've always wanted to give it to you but didn't have the right excuse. Now just take it. Think of it as a gift from an old woman who admires you. Jiang Fan touched his nose. What a way to say it. It sounded like he was being kept by two wealthy older sisters. But honestly, what they gave was indeed great. The 6 harmonies immortal was enough said. This bottle of essence blood before him could help him perfect the final layer of the iron blood true scripture. Then, the strength of his physique would reach unimaginable heights. Gong Kei's generous gift, Jiang Fan naturally wouldn't be stingy. He sliced off a large piece of clam meat and gave it to her. Is this 1,000-year spiritual meat? Gong Kei exclaimed. This is too valuable, I can't accept it. How can I accept your gift? Jiang Fan chuckled. Yue Mingzhu broke through to the 9th layer of core formation after eating this. Do you plan to stay below her forever? This. Gong Kei's breath quickened. She looked at the smug Yue Mingzhu and reluctantly accepted it. All right, I owe you a big favor. Breaking through from the 8th layer to the 9th layer of the core formation required astronomical resources. It was not less valuable than a bottle of tiger demon essence blood. Jiang Fan breathed a sigh of relief, feeling that he had given a clear response to the two women. As for whether they had any future fate, it depended on their mutual fortunes. He cupped his hands and said, Mingzhu Kei, I'm going to cultivate now to prepare for the task in 3 days. We will meet again. Yue Mingzhu didn't seem to mind. Gong Kei showed an unnatural expression. It was the first time a young man had called her Kei. Watching Jiang Fan's departing figure, her eyes glowed, unable to recover for a long time. Our husband is really handsome, isn't he? Sister Kei, Yue Mingzhu said with a teasing smile, resting her chin on her hand. Gong Kei's face reddened. Who's your sister? Stay away from me from now on. I don't know you. With that, she leaped onto a flying creature and soared into the sky. Only when she was far high in the air did her tense body relax. Recalling that she had confessed her feelings to Jiang Fan, her cheeks felt hot. Did she actually confess to Jiang Fan? Oh my God, was this a nightmare? She lamented, Yue Mingzhu, it's all your fault. Yet deep down, a trace of gratitude emerged. If it weren't for Yue Mingzhu, how would Jiang Fan have known about her feelings, looking at the large piece of spiritual meat in her arms? Her face alternated between joy, worry, and melancholy, feeling extremely complex. In a hidden space, Jiang Fan took out the tiger demon essence blood. He opened the bottle cap. A fierce tiger roar burst out unexpectedly. It shook Jiang Fan violently. The jade bottle in his hand almost slipped. At the same time, a terrifying demon power surged out, condensing into a faintly discernible fierce giant tiger in midair. Its entire body was white, its face ferocious, exuding an unparalleled menacing aura. It turned its head and saw Jiang Fan. With a roar, it charged at him fiercely. Jiang Fan's brow twitched. What the hell? How many years had the tiger demon emperor been dead? How could the leftover essence blood still possess such power? The aura of this tiger was at least at the 8th layer of core formation. The fierce tiger pounced. Jiang Fan held the essence blood and immediately triggered the heavenly thunder 6 parts cloud shadow. Instantly transforming into lightning, he moved 200 feet away. Boom! The ground behind shook violently. A terrifying shockwave swept across 100 feet radius, shattering the ground. The entire space trembled fiercely along with it. Jiang Fan clicked his tongue in amazement. Luckily, he had cultivated the Void Flow Thunder Force, doubling the range of Cloud Shadow's instantaneous movement. Otherwise, he would have been hit. He turned to look at the ferocious tiger's shadow. To his astonishment, its massive body was absorbing the spiritual energy from the surroundings, continuously solidifying. Its aura also kept rising. Jiang Fan sighed helplessly. "Gong Kei, you're trying to murder your husband." This bottle of essence blood had been sealed for too long. It had accumulated the aura of that demon supreme for far too long. Over time, it had actually developed weak spiritual intelligence. It had become an existence similar to an evil spirit. Gong Kei had not anticipated this and had directly handed it to Jiang Fan. This had brought about considerable trouble. Roar the tiger demon roared in anger and pounced again. That earth-shaking demon power seemed ready to shatter Jiang Fan into a mist of blood. "Do you think I'm scared?" Jiang Fan shouted, his palms surrounded by thunder. "5 thunder true heaven palm." The power of thunder and lightning within him converged in his palms to form an illusory handprint. As he pushed his palms outward, the handprint grew larger in the wind, quickly transforming to a size of about 10 feet. It whooshed and fiercely collided with the charging tiger. As powerful as the tiger was, it was essentially an evil spirit. The power of thunder and lightning was its nemesis. Howl at the moment of collision. The tiger demon let out a pained howl, its tail sweeping as it turned and retreated midair. Its eyes stared fiercely at Jiang Fan from a distance. Fear was faintly visible in its eyes, but much more brutality. It crouched low with its body, circling Jiang Fan slowly, looking for the best moment to strike. Jiang Fan frowned silently. What a hassle, being targeted by a low-intelligence evil spirit. If it had any intelligence, it would have left upon seeing Jiang Fan wield the power of thunder and lightning. But this one wanted to battle Jiang Fan to the end. The trouble was, it continued to absorb the world's spiritual energy, and it was almost reaching the perfect level of the 9th layer of core formation. At that time, even his power of thunder and lightning might not be able to restrain such a powerful evil spirit. Just as the tension between the two sides peaked, suddenly Jiang Fan's robe moved. "Little Qilin?" Jiang Fan was speechless. This guy had slept for 2 months straight. During that time, Jiang Fan had forcefully awakened it once to take a spirit pill, but it hadn't moved since. No matter how fierce Jiang Fan's battles were, it hadn't woken up. Why had it suddenly woken up now? As the robe opened, the little Qilin peered out with sleepy eyes, its small head the size of a palm. It looked around in a daze. Then a surprising scene occurred to Jiang Fan. The ferocious-looking tiger demon, upon seeing the little Qilin, shuddered all over. Next, its fur stood up, and its claws pressed tightly against the ground, emitting low growls from its mouth. Its body kept retreating. It backed all the way to the exit before swiftly turning and dashing out of the cave. As if it had encountered a lethal danger that suppressed its bloodline, it chose to flee instantly. The little Qilin was finally awake. Upon spotting the tiger demon, its eyes widened, and it jumped out of Jiang Fan's embrace. In an instant, it disappeared through spatial teleportation. The sounds of terrified roars followed. The roars didn't last long. The little Qilin returned, dragging the tiger demon by its tail back into the hidden cave. It was like a small kitten carrying a mouse 100 times its size. At this moment, the tiger demon's eyes were dull. The evil spirit hidden within it had been exterminated. The little Qilin opened its mouth and sucked greedily. The tiger's shadow, formed by the demon power and the essence blood of the demon race supreme, was sucked into the little Qilin's body like a stream of air. In less than half a cup of tea, the little Qilin patted its round belly, used spatial teleportation, and returned to Jiang Fan's embrace. "Little Qilin, what just happened?" Jiang Fan asked. Why would such a ferocious tiger demon regard the little Qilin as a mortal enemy? It was truly baffling, but the only response he got was snoring. Jiang Fan's mouth twitched. It had fallen asleep again. What was going on with this guy? When had it become so sleepy? Nevertheless, he truly had to thank the little Qilin. Although Jiang Fan had the power of thunder techniques, the tiger demon might not have killed him. Yet if he had let it escape, it would have posed a tremendous threat to the disciples of the 9 sect on Boundary Mountain. After this incident, Jiang Fan looked at the tiger demon essence blood with more caution. It's close to divinity transformation. A single bottle of essence blood contains such great power. I can't imagine how terrifying a divinity transformation level being must be. After confirming that the tiger demon essence blood no longer held anything like before, he carefully extracted a drop. To be safe, he diluted it tenfold in a cup of water. Only then did he cautiously drink it down, as soon as it entered his stomach. Jiang Fan felt as if magma was churning, burning him to the point he drew in sharp breaths. All his muscles twisted together in pain. His face contorted from the intense pain. He almost rolled on the ground in agony. Had it not been for his previous body refinement experiences providing some pain resistance, he would have fainted on the spot. Despite the excruciating pain, Jiang Fan tremblingly circulated the final layer of iron blood true scripture. As one of the many inheritances left by the half-demon Liu Qingxian in the giant sect's holy land, this cultivation method was exceedingly demanding. Jiang Fan had cultivated it from the Qi cultivation realm to this point. He had finally reached its final layer. Enduring the pain, Jiang Fan guided the potency of the diluted essence blood into his limbs and bones. Once the pain subsided, indicating the potency had weakened, he diluted 2 more drops, swallowing with a trace of fear. The sharp pain pierced him again. This continued repetitively, in the hidden space. For the next 3 days, occasional low growls of pain echoed, until Jiang Fan poured out the last drop of tiger demon essence blood and swallowed it directly. Aside from the faint burning sensation, there was no other discomfort. Jiang Fan let out a long breath. A burst of intense burning air followed. His body was covered with a thick layer of gray-black liquid. This was the washing marrow effect triggered by his physique transformation. During the Phoenix blood treasure body, I expelled black, viscous matter. Now it's gray-black liquid. This indicates a qualitative change in my physique. Jiang Fan clenched his fist. Crack, the air was crushed on the spot, and there was a faint sound of tiger roaring. Domineering tiger body, great success. Jiang Fan could feel that his physique was incomparably strong. If he encountered a 5th-level core formation demon beast, he could easily kill it with sheer strength. Even against a 6th-level core formation beast king like Qiu he could compete. Next, Jiang Fan removed his old clothes, washed his body clean, unveiling a perfect body lined with chiseled muscles. Though still slender, each muscle contained explosive power. Additionally, the washing marrow effect had made Jiang Fan's skin even whiter, resembling mutton fat jade devoid of blood streaks. It was the cold white color that girls pursued. Combined with his well-defined features, it added a touch of handsomeness. He dressed in a new robe, tidied up the cultivation area, and ensured nothing was left behind before heading back to Boundary Mountain. The 3 days agreed with Wu Manyu had passed. When he arrived at Boundary Mountain, Wu Manyu was already standing at the junction of the Great Wall and Boundary Mountain. She held her arms over her chest, her wine-red dress contrasting sharply with the snowy world. Combined with her alluring figure, it created an intensely provocative visual impact. However, she clearly wasn't in a good mood. Her eyes stared coldly ahead, impatience etched on her brows. How could you be late for such an important action? Just wait till I give you a piece of my mind. She had always wanted to find a chance to get back at Jiang Fan. Catching him being late was a perfect opportunity for her to make a point. In the distance, snow and wind swirled. Someone was coming. The only one who had gone to a distant place to train was Jiang Fan. There was no doubt that the approaching person was Jiang Fan. Finally here! Wu Manyu frowned, glaring coldly at the newcomer. As the wind and snow drew closer, a young man in a long black robe appeared, stepping through the whirling snow and wind. His robe fluttered in the breeze, and his ink-black hair flowed like a waterfall. A simple silver silk belt wrapped around his waist, highlighting his balanced and slender physique. In his strides, his eyes gleamed like mirrors reflecting autumn waters. The corners of his lips curved upward in a confident and gentle smile, like peach blossoms blooming in the early spring. What was most captivating? His skin was very fair, reflecting a faint glow in the sunlight as if it could luminesce. Whiter than the falling snow, so white that even women would envy it. Wu Manyu stared blankly. The image of the graceful young man etched deeply into her pupils. In her mind, the phrase, "a jade-like gentleman," surfaced uncontrollably. The black-clad youth before her matched this phrase perfectly. Such a handsome person. Since when did the 9 sect have someone like this? Wu Manyu's eyes became slightly dazed. She noticed that the person was going to pass by her. She unconsciously averted her gaze, slightly bashfully lowering the hands crossed in front of her chest and tidying her wind-ruffled hair. Her expression showed a hint of unease. even someone as naturally alluring as Wu Manyu. Faced with a man who moved her heart, could not avoid feeling a bit shy. But what left Wu Manyu stunned on the spot was, the young man did not pass by her but stopped beside her. He frowned and said, "Who are you waiting for?" This voice, Wu Manyu turned her head in disbelief. Upon closer inspection, the brows, eyes, nose, and mouth, who else could it be but Jiang Fan? "It's you!" Wu Manyu exclaimed in surprise. How have you changed so much?" The previous Jiang Fan, though considered handsome. But having seen many extraordinary men in the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, Jiang Fan's appearance didn't stand out much to her. However, after only a few days, Jiang Fan seemed to have undergone a complete transformation, making her feel amazed, so much so that she didn't recognize him at first glance as Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan couldn't be bothered to respond, coldly stating, "It's almost time to depart, so why don't you explain the mission?" Wu Manyu's heart was unable to calm its shock. While observing Jiang Fan's glowing white skin, she said, "This mission, surprisingly, has something to do with you." Jiang Fan was astonished. "It has something to do with me." Wu Manyu circled Jiang Fan, scrutinizing him incessantly, and said, "Do you remember concubine Xianxia? The intelligence you extracted from the Golden Claw Iron Wolf indicated that concubine Xianxia holds an unknown quantity of Demon Emperor Essence blood. Now that the decisive battle between the two races is near, she must be eliminated as a threat. So our special mission is to ambush and kill concubine Xianxia." Jiang Fan was taken aback. He said, "Is this some kind of joke? The strength of the Demon Emperor concubine couldn't be weak. And wouldn't there be powerful guards by her side? Us disciples going to ambush, isn't that seeking death? Such a mission would be extremely dangerous even for elders to execute, let alone for disciples." Wu Manyu continued to marvel at Jiang Fan, replying, "You're overthinking it. Even if we disciples wanted to ambush ourselves, the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion wouldn't allow us to mess things up. The real task of killing is assigned to elders-level strong practitioners drawn from the 9th sect. We only need to ambush at the exit of the Valley of the Dead and eliminate any escapees, to prevent the essence blood of the Demon Emperor from leaking out, undermining our efforts, so that's how it is." Jiang Fan let out a long breath. Simply assisting the experts in completing the task was much more straightforward. Although there was still a considerable risk, if the reward was training at the nascent Soul Tribulation land, it was entirely worth a try. "All right, where are the other team members?" Jiang Fan nodded. A mission of such importance wouldn't involve just a few of them. "They're waiting at the foot of the mountain." Wu Manyu retracted her gaze from observing him. As soon as she finished speaking, Jiang Fan used a movement technique, leaping over the Great Wall and heading straight to the foot of Boundary Mountain. He had no intention of traveling with Wu Manyu. This made Wu Manyu bite her silver teeth slightly. "Bastard, just because you got more handsome, you think you can be arrogant. Don't think I'll forgive you. After the mission, I'll make sure to settle all the previous scores. Of course, considering your handsomeness, a bit of leniency isn't out of the question." At the foot of Boundary Mountain, Jiang Fan saw several familiar figures from afar. They had also seen Jiang Fan. Although they were also shocked by Jiang Fan's transformation, they had fought side by side for many days. They recognized him at a glance. "Ha! What did I say? Junior brother Jiang would definitely come." Liang Feiyan stretched out her hand and laughed heartily. "I won, a bet's a bet. Come on, hand them over." Ouyang Jun, Zai Liushu, Hua Xianxian, and Li Qingxian. Grimacing, they each took out a dust heart pill and handed it to Liang Feiyan. Only Xia Keoj stood alone. Holding a demon wolf by herself, she watched the scene with a faint smile. "What is this?" Jiang Fan asked, approaching in puzzlement. Li Qingxian lamented, "We lost a bet." Jiang Fan found out after asking. They had made a bet on whether Jiang Fan would participate in this mission. Except for Liang Feiyan, they all thought Jiang Fan wouldn't come, because Wu Manyu had suffered so much at Jiang Fan's hands. They believed Jiang Fan would avoid her, let alone join in an event she organized. In the end, only Liang Feiyan guessed correctly. "Hee, 4 dust heart pills plus the one my master awarded me. When I return, I can break through to the 5th level of core formation." Liang Feiyan clasped her fists and smiled at Jiang Fan. "Haha, junior brother Jiang is my lucky star. They all thought you'd be afraid of Wu Manyu. Only I knew that with junior brother Jiang's skills, Wu Manyu wouldn't be able to contend with you." Ouyang Jun and the others pulled long faces. Their faces were full of regret. They had each accomplished marvels on the battlefield. Thus, the sect had exceptionally rewarded them with a dust heart pill each. But now, they'd lost them all. Li Qingxian lamented, "Junior brother Jiang, it's all your fault. You have to compensate us." The group couldn't help but laugh and cry. Jiang Fan smiled as well and said, all right, I'll compensate you. He took out 10 revitalizing pills and handed them to Li Qingxian. Share these among yourselves. During the days of seclusion, besides cultivating, he had made time to refine batches of revitalizing pills and 3-step drunk. 100 of each, enough to last for a while. Ah, I was just kidding. Li Qingxian was startled and quickly tried to return them. Jiang Fan said, this mission has some dangers. Everyone should have 2 each as a precaution. Before him were all familiar faces. He no longer wanted to hear news of anyone perishing. That feeling was too painful. Li Qingxian was moved. Junior brother Jiang, how should I repay you? Counting it up, Jiang Fan had saved her once at the Boundary Mountain Peak, and had given her multiple spirit pills afterward. Zai Liushu joked and said, you could throw yourself into his arms. Just so happens that junior sister Liu Qingxian has another mission. You should seize the opportunity. Once she returns, you won't even get close to junior brother Jiang. Ow, ow, before he finished speaking. A few iron balls had him holding his head and fleeing, yelping in pain. Jiang Fan smiled wryly. He took out a bottle of revitalizing pills and handed it to her. This is yours. Xia K glanced at the jade bottle containing 10 revitalizing pills, a smile appearing on her pretty face. Thank you, she accepted them gracefully. Jiang Fan, on the other hand, was confused. He thought Xia Keoj would refuse, saying something about overstepping their master-disciple relationship as she did last time. But this time she accepted directly. Suddenly, Jiang Fan felt a pair of fierce eyes glaring at him. He looked over, finding it was the demon wolf Xia Keoj was holding. Its entire body was black, except its claws glowed with golden light. Jiang Fan was surprised. This demon wolf looks very familiar. Race-written language than the demons themselves, Ao, Ao, Ao. The golden claw iron wolf immediately bared its fangs and claws, angrily howling at Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan rubbed his nose. What is this guy saying? He didn't understand a bit of the demon race's language. The others also shook their heads. Liang Feiyan showed a strange expression. Why do I feel like it seems to hold a grudge against you, junior brother Jiang? Junior brother Jiang, do you know this demon wolf? Jiang Fan had been killing demonic beasts quite a lot lately. For a moment, he couldn't really be sure if he had inadvertently let this one escape somewhere. It is the golden claw iron wolf. Wu Manyu sauntered over unhurriedly, twisting her waist as she walked. Before Jiang Fan, she said with malicious glee, this demon wolf is cursing you, and quite nastily. Is that so? Jiang Fan suspiciously looked at Wu Manyu. Could it be that you are well versed in the demon race's script? Ha! Wu Manyu held her ample chest with both hands and rolled her eyes. The little language of the demon race with my talent isn't it easy to master? This demon wolf called you little darling. Said you ruined its reputation, and it will never share the same sky with you. Jiang Fan suddenly understood. Staring at the howling demon wolf, he said in surprise, so it was you, this guy. What, didn't you receive the human clan's Medal of Honor? Didn't the giant sect arrange for a she-wolf to properly entertain you? This golden claw iron wolf was the deputy captain of the Royal Guard team. Previously, Jiang Fan had interrogated it and learned important information about concubine Xianxia carrying the demon emperor's essence blood to the front lines. Wu Manyu spoke in the demon race language, translating Jiang Fan's words. The golden claw iron wolf immediately growled furiously. Wu Manyu covered her mouth with a smile. Do you want me to translate? Jiang Fan chuckled. No need. Even without translation, he knew it was probably swearing harshly. He raised his palm. A layer of toxic mist danced in his hand. Haven't used poison techniques in a while. My hand is itching. The moment the golden claw iron wolf saw the poison palm, its mind was instantly dominated by terrifying memories of Jiang Fan tormenting it with the poison palm. It immediately shut its big mouth. Not a sound. Only dared to glance at Jiang Fan secretly. Everyone tutted in amazement. It seemed that this golden claw iron wolf had suffered greatly at Jiang Fan's hands back then. Why bring this demon traitor? Jiang Fan withdrew his poison palm and asked. Wu Manyu said, first for transportation. Second, no one recognizes concubine Xianxia, so when we wipe out this royal team, there has to be someone to identify the bodies, right? I see. Jiang Fan said, when do we set out? Wu Manyu looked up at the sky, saying, we can go at any time. Just ensure we arrive near the Valley of the Dead a day later. Jiang Fan nodded and was about to jump onto the golden claw iron wolf. Suddenly he noticed. There was a pile of books hanging on the golden claw iron wolf. He was slightly startled. He incredulously pulled out a book, exclaiming, "Aren't these the ancient texts from Commissioner Luo's place? Who exchanged them?" These were language materials for all races. He wanted them, but he didn't have the merits to exchange for them. He couldn't believe they would appear here. "A gift for Shishu, martial uncle," with a gentle smile, Xia Caoj said. Seeing Jiang Fan like it so much, an enormous sense of satisfaction welled up in her heart. "Caoj, you exchanged them to give to me?" Jiang Fan said in surprise. He realized that it must have been Commissioner Luo who mentioned his liking for these books. Xia Caoj then took the initiative to exchange them and gifted them to him. How many merits did this cost? Jiang Fan felt a heavy weight in his heart. Every merit point was earned by Xia Caoj, risking her life. To exchange them for a gift for Jiang Fan made it even more precious. Xia Caoj still smiled gently. Not much, 300. Only 300 merits. Jiang Fan felt much lighter in his heart. 300 merits he could accept, smiling. "Thank you, Shishu likes it very much." A satisfied smile appeared on Xia Caoj's beautiful face. With those words, it was worth exchanging her hairpin. "Aha!" Wu Manyu looked at Xia Caoj playfully. That bundle of language materials for all races was from 1,000 years ago, priceless ancient texts. In the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, they needed tremendous merits to exchange for. Even after being put into the treasure vault, the requirements would be much lower. But it was definitely not something that 300 merits could get. Xia Caoj's total merits might not even be enough. She must have paid some other price to get them. "Senior Sister Wu, do you have something to say?" Xia Caoj responded to her gaze, calmly asked. Wu Manyu shrugged her fragrant shoulders, smiling, "Nothing." Turning around, she jumped onto the demon wolf, saying, "Let's go." Always fearing the world was at peace, This time she saw through it but didn't expose it. Everyone set out, heading towards the Valley of the Dead a day away. Jiang Fan then searched through the numerous materials. Soon he found the language materials about the demon race. The demon race language was very complex, not easy to master. Even though it was compiled by ancient sages themselves, from shallow to deep, to let people understand as much as possible. But it was still very complicated. Fortunately, Jiang Fan's comprehension was astonishing. Flipping through the pages, he quickly grasped the contents. Wu Manyu watched Jiang Fan flipping through the books quickly and couldn't help but sneer. Reading 10 lines at a glance won't let you learn the demon race's language. "I struggled for 3 years and still don't dare to say I've mastered the demon race's script, only that communication is unhindered." Jiang Fan focused entirely, ignoring her. At this moment, he could already understand the low mutterings of the demon wolf beneath him, reluctantly able to communicate with demonic beasts. However, this ancient language material compiled by sages covered everything, including several obscure scripts that the current demon race had already lost. Since he painstakingly obtained such a precious book, he naturally had to learn more. One day later, Jiang Fan had a splitting headache. His mind was filled with a lot of information. Comprehending the heaven-level cultivation technique, Void Flow 5 forces, only took him 3 days and 3 nights, spending a whole day on a language book. It was a first. Correspondingly, the gains were also enormous. It was no exaggeration to say he understood the demon race script better than the current demon race. "We've arrived at Soul-Breaking Canyon," Wu Manyu suddenly reminded. A long canyon appeared before their eyes. The canyon was 1,000 feet deep, dark and bottomless. There was no way to climb up. Only the entrances on both sides allowed leaving the canyon. Coincidentally, the entrance on the other side of Soul-Breaking Canyon had experienced a massive collapse years ago, completely blocked. Only the entrance in front of them allowed entry and exit. As long as they held this place, they could ambush the remnants. Rumble soon after. A small white cow that could turn invisible silently approached them. 10 powerful humans jumped off one after another. They were clearly the elders tasked with assassinating the demon emperor's concubine. An elder with a head of white hair, his body hunched over, dressed in simple clothes. He didn't have a hint of a sharp aura. Anyone who didn't know better might think he was an old man from the countryside. However, the other 9 elders from various sects all took him as their leader. Wu Manyu was taken aback. As a disciple of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, she didn't dare to act arrogant. She stepped forward, cupped hands in greeting, and said, "Supreme Elder Fang, why have you come?" Supreme Elder. Jiang Fan and the others were all shocked. They had actually sensed such top-tier fighting strength. They, a few juniors, naturally didn't dare be negligent, all stepping forward to salute. Seeing the elder's face, Xianxia frowned slightly. She moved her feet unobtrusively, blocking half of Jiang Fan's body. Liang Feiyan also vaguely sensed something. She glanced at Jiang Fan with worry. Ouyang Jun, Zai Liushu, Hua Xianxian, and Li Qixian. Their expressions also subtly changed, worried for Jiang Fan in secret, because the Supreme Elder in front of them was none other than the Supreme Elder of the giant sect, Fang Taiji. The worst part was, he also had another identity, Tai Bubai's master. Sect coming here would not be a problem, except for Fang Taiji. He was the Supreme Elder who should not have come. Are you the disciples assisting with the action? Fang Taiji stood with his hands behind his back, hunched over as he scanned the group. Even though it was just a gaze, it made them feel as if a tangible force had swept over them. It showed just how formidable his physical power had become. He was likely touching the edge of the legendary golden body. The group became even more respectful. Suddenly, Fang Taiji's gaze fell on Jiang Fan, a hint of surprise appearing. What a strong physique, almost as powerful as some of our elders in the giant sect. At such a young age to have such a mastery. Young one, which sect do you belong to? What is your name? Xianxia and the others' expressions darkened. What they feared most had happened. Of all people, Fang Taiji noticed Jiang Fan. They remained silent, not daring to answer. The 9 elders who had accompanied them had all seen Jiang Fan a few days earlier. They naturally recognized him at a glance. They had also heard of Jiang Fan's significant connection to Tai Bubai's death. For a moment, they did not dare to answer. Fang Taiji noticed the unusual behavior around him and frowned. What, should I not ask? Or is it that? He seemed to realize something, his old eyes narrowing. I heard there is a famous disciple named Jiang Fan lately. My sect's disciples have testified that he possesses a purple sword, suspected of killing Tai Bubai. Young one, you wouldn't be this Jiang Fan, would you? Old men were wise. It was very difficult to deceive a supreme elder who had experienced countless things. Jiang Fan sighed slightly. When Xianxia had discreetly shielded him, he had guessed the identity of this old man. What was destined couldn't be avoided. He said calmly, "It is me." Fang Taiji's deep eyes suddenly shot out a sharp light. A massive force instantly struck Jiang Fan's chest. Jiang Fan's heart chilled. He had been on guard, his body trembled secretly, activating the domineering tiger body. The roaring of tigers echoed within his body. The circulating massive force dissipated the incoming attack. Even so, he was forced to take 3 steps back. Fang Taiji's gaze became fierce. You are indeed extraordinary. An ordinary disciple would have spat out blood and been thrown off long ago. But you only retreated 3 steps. Unfortunately, you are not a disciple of my giant sect, and unfortunately, you killed my treasured apprentice. A deep, murderous intent flashed in his murky old eyes. Senior Fang, please wait. The elder chosen from the Green Cloud sect was Xiao Wuji. He had already been nervous for Jiang Fan. Seeing Fang Taiji's murderous intent, he immediately stepped in front of Jiang Fan. He cupped his hands and said, Senior Fang, please quell your anger. According to the playback of the sky monitoring crystal, the testimony of your sect's disciples is baseless. My sect's disciple Jiang Fan is innocent. I ask Senior Fang to see reason. The elders of the other 8 sects also spoke up. Senior Fang, I was present, and it is indeed as Elder Zhao said. That day was indeed a misunderstanding. Please do not wrong Jiang Fan. Thud, Fang Taiji lightly tapped his toe on the ground. A sharp, explosive wind silenced their words. Do you think you can boss me around? His old face remained indifferent. The murderous intent in his eyes did not diminish because of their persuasion. Instead, it became even fiercer. He said coldly, I don't need evidence to kill. If I want, I do it. He took a step toward Jiang Fan. With 1 foot down, Xiao Wuji suddenly felt like being crushed under Mount Tai, his face turning pale, blood seeping from the corner of his mouth. His face turned red. Senior Fang, please show mercy. He was pressed so hard he could barely speak. Clenching his teeth, he forced a few words out through his teeth. The other 8 elders were not unafraid. Fang Taiji was killing outer sect disciples at will. But he had the qualification to be fearless of retaliation. Because, throughout the 9-sect land, he was a top 5 supreme elder. The only one who could surely beat him was Su Qingyang. Xianxia's face turned cold, drawing his sword. Senior Fang, if you continue to be reckless, don't blame me for being disrespectful. Liang Feiyan gritted her teeth. She also decisively drew her sword. Senior Fang, is this how you wantonly disregard human life? Ouyang Jun, Zai Liushu, Hua Xianxian, and Li Qixian. After a moment of struggle, they decisively drew their swords, standing firmly beside Jiang Fan. They had all faced death on Boundary Mountain. They were not afraid of dying. Jiang Fan gave them a grateful look, saying, "Thank you, but you all should step back. I will handle him myself, this old man." Without evidence, he wanted to kill him forcibly. Could he be so easily killed now? A jade talisman of a nascent soul strike was rapidly activating within his sleeve. These were meant to be used as killing devices on the battlefield. Jiang Fan absolutely did not want to use them on his own people, but the giant sect kept pushing too far. And now this Supreme Elder Fang was openly trying to kill him. He had no choice. He had to waste one on him. "Senior Fang, aren't you afraid of startling the Demon Emperor concubine by fighting here?" Wu Manyu said coldly. "If the task is ruined and the Demon Emperor's essence blood ends up on the front line, how many heads do you have to spare?" She looked at him with disdain. This old man, couldn't he distinguish the greater priority? Personal grievances placed above the war between the two races. Upon hearing this, Fang Taiji's eyes finally showed a hint of fear. He could disregard the 9 sect people. He feared no one. But if he truly ruined things and angered the heavenly mechanism pavilion, that would be troublesome. The murderous intent in his eyes retreated like water, but his coldness did not diminish. "After taking the Demon Emperor concubine's head, I will deal with you," Fang Taiji said indifferently. He then walked slowly into the canyon with his hands behind his back. Xiao Wuji wiped the blood from his mouth, turned to Jiang Fan, and gave him a quick signal to leave. Only then did he follow the other elders into the canyon. Once they were inside, Liang Feiyan cursed. "Bullying with age," she turned to Jiang Fan, worried. "Junior brother Jiang, ride the demon wolf back alone. That old man is unreasonable. Once the task is completed, he will definitely come after you." Jiang Fan shook his head. A hint of coldness appeared in his eyes. "No, let's complete the task first." Leave? This old man openly wanted to kill him, even injuring Elder Zhao. Why should he be allowed to leave? The giant sect missed Tai Bu by so much. Then let them send a Supreme Elder down to reunite with him. Liang Feiyan anxiously tried to persuade him. Wu Manyu giggled and interrupted. "Junior brother Jiang, you should thank me for saving you just now." "How will you thank me?" Her foxy eyes were full of teasing. Jiang Fan chuckled. "You helped me. You were saving that old man, Fang Taiji." Realm others didn't realize that Jiang Fan was holding a nascent soul jade talisman. Wu Manyu had come to the battlefield precisely for the nascent soul jade talisman. How could she not notice? "All right, I did save him. Who said the mission isn't complete yet? Someone has to get the job done and eliminate the Demon Emperor's concubine, right?" Wu Manyu shrugged in acknowledgement. "All right, everyone, get ready for the ambush. The seniors are about to engage in a fierce battle with the Demon Emperor's concubine's team. The remnants could escape at any moment. Let's not hold them back." Everyone's expressions were relaxed. They were not as tense as during their time at Boundary Mountain, because this time the human clan's lineup was incredibly luxurious. 9 elders plus Fang Taiji, a top-level Supreme Elder in combat power. They couldn't think of any reason why the human clan would lose. As a few people quickly set up the ambush, deep within Soul-Breaking Canyon, 10 gigantic demon beasts, each 50 or 60 zhang tall, lay around a luxurious camp. They exuded demon energy into the sky, their gazes fierce. They emitted incomparably powerful auras. Each one was no weaker than Qiu and Jia. Who else could be guarded by such powerful beings besides the Demon Emperor's concubine? Suddenly, one of the demon beasts abruptly raised its head, staring in the direction of the exit. But there was nothing in the darkness. "Bai Teng, did you notice something?" The 9 demon beasts nearby woke up one after another. The demon beast named Bai Teng had slightly reddish eyes, clearly seeing the dark canyon. After a while, it shook its head slightly. "No, I must have been mistaken." Suddenly, its pupils contracted, because not far in front of it, an elderly man with a hunched back and hands behind him walked over. "Hiss! Alert! Protect the Imperial concubine!" Bai Teng gasped, issuing a sharp alarm. It had obviously checked carefully and found no presence. But the old man before it had appeared like he came out of thin air, unnoticed. What did this mean? It meant this elder from the human clan was so powerful that even its innate divine ability couldn't detect his presence. This level of power, the last time it felt such strength was when facing the Demon King, sky-devouring tiger. Terrified, it got ready to fight. Just as it stood up, its chest suddenly felt cold. Looking down, there was a human-shaped bloody hole in its chest. Then, intense pain came from its back. Turning its head, the hunched old man had pierced through it from behind. Hands still behind him, he walked out slowly. With just his body, he forcefully created a human-shaped bloody hole through this 6th-level core formation Beast King. How strong was that? Its vision gradually darkened. The huge body collapsed heavily. The surrounding demon beasts were completely alarmed, staring at the hunched old man in fear. "Who are you?" a Beast King asked with a trembling voice. Fang Taiji, with his hands behind him, looked at them calmly and said lightly, "Only 10 war kings for protection. The Demon Emperor's concubine doesn't seem to take us humans seriously." The next moment, his figure vanished, leaving behind a lingering shadow. When he reappeared, he was standing on a snake demon's head. He lifted his foot and gently stepped down. Poof! The snake demon's head exploded into a mist of blood on the spot. Without even a scream, the snake demon with the 6th-level core formation cultivation perished. Underestimating your enemy is the original sin. Fang Taiji gently patted the bloodstains on his sleeve. The remaining 8 war kings gulped hard. In their eyes, Fang Taiji was like the god of death. One of them, who looked like a leader, suppressed its fear and roared, "Protect the imperial concubine!" It charged forward first. The other 7 war kings also rushed forward, ready to die. Like mountains, they bore down on Fang Taiji. "Hee!" Fang Taiji chuckled hoarsely, "Overestimating yourselves." He raised his right hand, pressing down into the air towards the massive war kings charging at him. Boom, boom, the leading war king fell to the ground instantly, its head smashed into a pulp. The war kings behind it seemed to suffer the same tremendous pressure as if the sky collapsed. All were pressed onto the ground. Their limbs were broken and their spinal bones shattered. The internal organs suffered unimaginable damage. Lying on the ground, they all let out wails of pain. At this moment, the 9 elders finally arrived. Lusting at the scene before them, they were immensely shocked. This was one of the top 5 super experts of the human clan. When he took action, it was earth-shattering. "Collect their demon cores. I will meet concubine Xianxia personally." Fang Taiji raised his gaze towards the camp. A solitary lamp emitted a faint glow, casting a delicate silhouette sitting cross-legged onto the wall of the camp. A pointed chin, a high nose, and hair tied into a loose ponytail. She sat straight up, emphasizing her slim back and long swan-like neck. Her perfect chest rose and fell with the flickering light. Just from the silhouette, one could tell she was a beauty. Fang Taiji chuckled hoarsely. "I've heard that concubine Xianxia is a beauty among the demon race with an immortal visage. The demon emperor was smitten at first sight and took you as his concubine. Out of 36 concubines, you are the most favored. Today, I will shamelessly enjoy the demon emperor's blessing." His words carried a hint of an old tree sprouting new leaves. Xiao Wuji and a few elders frowned. The demon emperor's concubine was the enemy. Capturing or killing her was acceptable. But to humiliate and play with her would make them lose the righteousness of fighting for their race. They would become no different than those of crooked and evil paths. "Supreme Elder Fang, you mustn't do this." Xiao Wuji stepped forward to stop him. "We are here to complete the mission, not to—" Poof, Fang Taiji glanced sideways. The piercing gaze made Xiao Wuji stagger back several steps. His face turned pale, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. "Is it your place to question how I handle things?" Fang Taiji cast a cold, dismissive glance at him. "Stepped into the camp?" Xiao Wuji clenched his teeth, powerless to stop, watching Fang Taiji act as he pleased. Suddenly, the camp's lights went out. Fang Taiji, who had just walked in, strangely stepped back out. As Xiao Wuji and the others wondered what was happening, a shocking scene met their eyes. As Fang Taiji retreated slowly, they saw a fair, jade-like hand with 5 fingers spread, grasping Fang Taiji's old face. It pressed him slowly out of the camp. Fang Taiji's old face was filled with horror, as if he had seen something extremely terrifying. So much so that he allowed the other person to grab him without daring to resist. As Fang Taiji kept retreating, the hand's owner slowly walked out from the dim camp. She was a young woman in white. She was extremely beautiful. Her features seemed carved from jade, autumn-like eyes with misty allure. Her demeanor was gentle and calm. Under the faint moonlight, her entire body shone with a soft glow, like an ethereal fairy under the moon. Using immortal beauty to describe her was no exaggeration, but the aura she emitted at this moment made them feel no trace of ethereal charm. What they felt was coldness from hell, because the aura she emitted was nascent soul realm. Xiao Wuji kept the action of wiping the blood from his mouth. He dared not move. His pupils trembled as if an earthquake continuously shook them. The other elders, some of them standing on the backs of demonic beasts, dared not breathe heavily, slowly crawling down from the beasts. Some, holding swords, were just about to stab the beasts in their vital spots, but their hands trembled, unable to make the strike. Some even staggered backward, tripping on stones and sitting on the ground with wide eyes. They had just put on the demeanor of victors a moment ago. Now they were all dominated by immense terror. Concubine Xianxia's eyes were calm, showing a trace of disdain. The human clan is as detestable as always. Her voice was extremely gentle, like clouds slowly drifting across the sky. It sounded soft to the ear, almost a heavenly melody, but her actions were exceptionally ruthless. With a grasp of her 5 fingers, her sharp nails dug into Fang Taiji's skull. Fang Taiji cried out in sharp pain, "Concubine Xianxia, spare me. I am only following orders. If I have offended you, please forgive me." His pleas for mercy went unheard. His dry skull was crushed with a crunching sound, about to burst. He cried in fear, "Concubine Xianxia, please have mercy. I am willing to serve the demon race. I am a high-ranking member of the humans and know many of their secrets. Keeping me would be very useful." Concubine Xianxia showed disgust in her eyes. When strong, you enjoyed the demon emperor's favor and occupied the demon emperor's concubines. When weak, you offer to serve the demon race. How can I use someone like you? With that said, she exerted force with her 5 fingers, intending to crush his skull like a ripe tomato. "No, no, no. Concubine Xianxia, I have important information for you. Another team is also carrying out this mission. I am willing to help Concubine Xianxia lure them in to capture them all." Upon hearing this, Xiao Wuji's pupils trembled violently with rage. "Fang Taiji, you old rascal. If you must die, die with some dignity. Don't involve them." Jiang Fan and the others were still kids. Fang Taiji was already an old man. How many more years could he live? Was it worth selling out those kids for a few more years? Fang Taiji exclaimed anxiously, "There are no disciples from the giant sect among them. Why should I care about their lives?" "Disciples?" Concubine Xianxia remarked indifferently. "Are you trying to deceive me? A few disciples count as important information." Fang Taiji hurriedly said, "They are not ordinary disciples. This team includes the 9-sect prodigy Xia Caoj and top elite Liang Feiyan. And yes, there's also Jiang Fan." Concubine Xianxia's eyes suddenly turned sharp. "Which Jiang Fan?" Seeing her reaction, Fang Taiji knew he had a chance. His life depended on Jiang Fan now. "The very same Jiang Fan who has caused so much trouble for the demon priests at Boundary Mountain, leading to the demon race's great defeat many times," he said viciously. "Is it him?" A trace of anger appeared on the always calm face of Concubine Xianxia. "He dared to come to our demon territory." Because of Jiang Fan, the demon race had suffered unprecedented defeats. The entire demon race had been humiliated. Everyone in the demon race wanted to tear him to pieces. "Where is he?" Concubine Xianxia asked coldly. "He is at the mouth of the canyon," Fang Taiji immediately replied. "But that little brat is extremely cunning and proficient in invisibility and escape techniques. If Concubine Xianxia goes there personally, it will alert him. To ensure we catch him, it is best to lure him into the canyon and trap him. I am very willing to help with this. If I show up, they will believe me." Concubine Xianxia pondered briefly. Jiang Fan could cause the dead spirit army of the demon race to suffer so much. He must have extraordinary abilities. It was best to take a cautious approach to capture him. However, sending Fang Taiji to deceive them, that would be like throwing the dumpling to the dog. It would never come back. If given the chance to escape, no one would run faster than Fang Taiji. At that moment, Xiao Wuji and several elders exchanged looks in secret. They understood each other's intentions. They couldn't sit and wait for death. The war between the two races had reached the point where it was either you or me. They could not hope for Concubine Xianxia to spare their lives. Instead of waiting for death, it was better to charge out. If one could escape, it was worth it. Whoosh, an elder from an unknown sect, moved first, darting toward the canyon exit like an arrow off the string. The other elders followed suit. 9 elderly figures raced away, creating sharp piercing sounds, fleeing for their lives. Concubine Xianxia cast a casual glance. The terrifying nascent soul waves shook the air violently, causing everyone to lose control of their spiritual power. Some stumbled while others fell headfirst in an embarrassing state. Xiao Wuji was filled with despair. Was this the nascent soul realm? With a single glance, they lost even the chance to run. Everyone was doomed here. Even Jiang Fan, the Green Cloud sect, had been at the bottom of the 9-sect rankings for years. They had suffered humiliation for 100 years. Finally, Jiang Fan had emerged like a shooting star. Given time, he could let the elders of Green Cloud sect, When the elders of the outer sect boast about their disciples' remarkable achievements, no longer avoid them. He could let the disciples of Green Cloud sect, during gatherings with the elite disciples of the outer sect, no longer just envy their feats. He could make it so that when the 9 sects gathered, the members of Green Cloud sect were no longer the lonely bystanders standing in the corner. Jiang Fan must not die here, cannot. He had to do something for Jiang Fan. He had to preserve this spark for Green Cloud sect. Suddenly, he thought of something. A momentary struggle flashed through his eyes, replaced by resolution. He immediately took out a broken grayish-brown spirit pill from deep within his robe. It was discovered years ago in an ancient cave mansion, named the Starfall Pill. The name was beautiful, like a shooting star across the sky. The effects were brilliant. It could make one's cultivation soar continuously, reaching a glorious peak. The price was, the consumer's golden core would be exhausted, their blood dry up. Their cultivation would dissipate completely. Their body ruined, becoming a complete and utter cripple, just like a brilliant shooting star leaving a bright trace in the sky, turning into ashes thereafter. He did not hesitate. He undid the seal, opened the cap, and swallowed. All in one go, he gripped the sword with both hands, standing firm, and shouted without looking back. "Go, all of you go. I will hold them back for you." Someone was moved, drawing their sword and running back. "We die together." Xiao Wuji's cultivation was rapidly rising. The 6th level of core formation, the 7th layer, the Jidan 8th layer, these realms he had once dared not to dream of. Now he broke through them one by one. "Go quickly," he shouted loudly. "I need you to survive, to warn Jiang Fan, to tell him to run, run, run. If in the end someone is safe, whoever sees Jiang Fan, tell him for me that no cowards come from Carefree Peak of the Green Cloud sect. It's his loss not to have come to Carefree Peak. Ha ha ha. I entrust you. All of you, I Xiao Wuji go first," he laughed aloud. With his climbing cultivation, he brandished his sword and rushed out, like a brilliant shooting star piercing through the desperate canyon. Sects were deeply saddened. In his memory, Xiao Wuji was someone who liked to argue. He could argue until his face turned red and his neck swelled for a slight difference in sword Dao. He could run to the gates of another sect and curse bluntly if his disciples were wronged. Not many people liked him. At the 9 sect elders' gatherings, he was mostly alone. He stood there lonely, wiping his sword by himself. If someone talked to him, he would endlessly chatter until it turned into a quarrel, ending in displeasure. Now, he was still alone, walking backwards alone, brandishing his sword alone, charging towards a formidable enemy he knew he couldn't defeat. Like a lone swordsman, walking his own path, interpreting his own sword Dao. "Let's go! Don't let him die in vain!" An elder, holding back tears, turned decisively. The remaining elders, choking back tears, turned to escape towards the canyon's exit. At this moment, Xiao Wuji, his cultivation had surged to the 9th layer of core formation. "Higher, higher, higher," Xiao Wuji shouted. If he could reach the 9th layer of core formation perfection, he could kill Fang Taiji, removing a threat for Jiang Fan. He could also buy more time for his comrades behind him. But the brilliance and demise of a shooting star were separated by an instant. The 9th layer of core formation was his most glorious moment in life. Afterwards, he started to fall. "No!" Xiao Wuji shouted. Seizing the moment, his cultivation stayed at the 9th layer of core formation. He raised his sword and thrust it towards Fang Taiji. This old scoundrel was more hateful than the enemy. Kill him first. The sword, like a startling swan, shone with a cold, piercing light. Yet it couldn't shift the calm in concubine Xianxia's eyes. She sighed softly, her tone like a cloud in the sky, gentle but desolate. "Meaningless resistance." She slowly raised her index finger before she moved. Fang Taiji moved first. With a casual punch across the void, he lightly struck out. Xiao Wuji's chest was pierced through with a fist-shaped bloody hole. A cold sensation quickly spread throughout Xiao Wuji's body. His vision gradually darkened. His body went limp, but he still held his sword, stumbling forward, forward, and forward again. Finally, the tip of his sword stabbed into Fang Taiji's arm. Only then did his body collapse. His eyes, already unfocused, had lost consciousness long before. Just now he had struck with sheer willpower. Fang Taiji coldly wiped away the slight break in his skin. He turned to concubine Xianxia and said, "Imperial concubine, please allow me to take action to resolve these small fry for you." He knew that to survive, he had to present proof of loyalty, and the best proof of loyalty was the heads of his former colleagues. Killing them meant Fang Taiji would lose his standing among the human clan. From then on, he could only serve the demon race. Concubine Xianxia released her hand. Fang Taiji, as if granted amnesty, turned and gazed at the backs of the fleeing 8 sect elders with a cruel glint in his eyes. Sorry, old man didn't want it to be this way either. Swish, he stepped out and disappeared into the dim canyon. In his final moments, Xiao Wuji's fingers twitched, trying to grip his sword. He wanted to fight again, but he had completely fallen. In his dim eyes, the reflection of concubine Xianxia's slowly approaching figure grew, and in the canyon, Fang Taiji swiftly caught up with the elders of the 8 sects. Seeing it was him, the elders immediately became wary. Fang Taiji, why is it you? Where is concubine Xianxia? Fang Taiji laughed heartily, smugly said, Naturally, I killed her. Otherwise, it would be concubine Xianxia catching up with you. What? Killed? The elders' hearts trembled, filled with skepticism. That was a nascent soul realm being, and Fang Taiji had already defected to them. Don't look at me like that, it was all a stratagem. If not, how could I make concubine Xianxia lower her guard and kill her? Don't believe me. Look, I even brought her head. Huh, a head too? The elders' hearts were filled with joy, looking at Fang Taiji expectantly as he pulled his hand from behind his back. If so, today's crisis would be resolved, unexpectedly. Fang Taiji pulled out an empty, aged palm, his face finally revealing an undisguisable playful smile. Sorry, I lied to you. In the next moment, a fierce light flashed in his eyes, shadows flickered like a ghost. Puff, puff, the sound of 2 blood fountains sprayed loudly. 2 unsuspecting elders had their heads taken, bodies falling stiffly. Fang Taiji, holding 2 bloody heads with a sinister grin on his face. I need to take your heads to report to concubine Xianxia. So bear with it. An elder from the giant sect, eyes wide with fury, roared, Fang Taiji, you beast! Puff, in the next instant, Fang Taiji pierced through his chest, cutting him in half. A glint of ruthless cold light flashed in his eyes. You think, being my fellow student, you can point fingers? All of you must die? Fang Taiji, you will die a terrible death, an elder roared in grief and rage. Go quickly. I'll hold him off. Run quickly. Puff, in the blink of an eye, 4 of the 8 elders lay dead. They knew their fate was sealed. Find a way to notify the disciples outside to flee. We'll hold off this old beast one by one. As long as one person reaches the canyon entrance, it's enough. The 4 were resolute and determined. Hastily, they formulated a tragic plan. One stayed behind to hold him off. The others ran. When Fang Taiji caught up again, another stayed behind. After 1 cup of tea's time, Elder Qiu Shengnan from the Myriad Swords sect was running for her life. She was covered in blood, unable to distinguish whose blood or which elder's blood had splattered on her, her face full of grief and anger, all dead. Everyone was dead. Only she remained, but the sacrifice of her predecessors finally let her glimpse the bright canyon entrance. She opened her mouth, shouting, Jiang! But, out of the darkness behind her, a withered hand reached out, covered her mouth from behind. The words she was about to utter were forever silenced. Fang Taiji, like a ghost, emerged from the darkness, one hand covering Qiu Shengnan's mouth. The other, like a cold blade, slowly pierced into her back towards her heart. He, Elder Qiu. Can't let you ruin my plans. They are all waiting for you down below. His fingers had already touched Qiu Shengnan's heart. Just one more move would pierce through her heart. But just as Fang Taiji, his face full of grimace, this time was about to kill Qiu Shengnan. Then nonchalantly head to the canyon entrance, deceiving Jiang Fan and others, just as he did with the elders of the 8 sects. A soul-nailing spike. Unpredictably, it pierced into Fang Taiji's skull. His grimace immediately twisted in pain, a growl escaping his throat. Who's there? Rip, a purple beam carrying an icy cold light suddenly stabbed down from the sky. Fang Taiji instinctively dodged but was still a step too slow. The extremely sharp sword blade cut across his fingers. 3 blood-streaked fingers soared into the air. 10 fingers linked to the heart. The excruciating pain made Fang Taiji scream several times. Looking up, on the ice wall not far away, Jiang Fan's eyes were icy cold and he shouted angrily, Old beast, you're courting death. He could hardly believe his eyes. Fang Taiji was killing Qiu Shengnan, killing Myriad Swords sect elders, killing his own people. Jiang Fan, run! Qiu Shengnan, barely escaping death, staggered towards Jiang Fan, shouting, Fang Taiji has betrayed us. Just one sentence. It was as if a thunderclap in the clear sky, shocking the people hidden at the mouth of the canyon into revealing themselves. Xia Keoj, Liang Feiyan, Ouyang Jun, Zai Liushu, Hua Xianxian, Li Shiqian, including Wu Manyu. Every single one of them was stunned. Fang Taiji, one of the top 5 superpower houses of the human clan, had betrayed. You guys run, I'll hold him off. Scatter and run, don't look back. Qiu Shengnan, enduring the severe pain in her back, drew her sword with a sorrowful expression. Liu Qingxian was stunned for a moment and said, "Where is my supreme sect elder? Why isn't he here? He betrayed as well?" Tears welled up in Qiu Shengnan's eyes as she trembled and said, "He's dead." Liu Qingxian's body swayed and she almost fell off the ice wall. Luckily, Xianxia beside her grabbed her arm, his heart heavy as he asked, "How did Elder Huang die?" Qiu Shengnan pointed at Fang Taiji with eyes like daggers. "It was this old beast. He betrayed us to the demon race and killed Elder Huang." "What?" Ouyang asked anxiously. "What about my 1,000 refinement sect's Elder Fan? He's dead too. Also killed by Fang Taiji." Ouyang shuddered, his eyes quickly reddening. "What about my Desire's sect's Elder Bai Mayan? She just became an elder. This is her first time on a mission." Zai Liushu pursed his lips, looking at Qiu Shengnan with pleading eyes, hoping to hear a different answer. "Dead," Fang Taiji crushed her heart. Zai Liushu leaned against the ice wall, trembling all over. "Then, what about my uncle Master Zhao?" A trembling voice came from Jiang Fan's mouth. His eyes trembled, his heart trembled, even the hand gripping the ice wall trembled uncontrollably. He had never hoped for a miracle, but now he desperately wished for a miracle to happen to him. Mentioning Xiao Wuji, Qiu Shengnan couldn't suppress a sorrowful cry. "Elder Zhao covered for us and charged at the demon emperor concubine. He was the first to die." Thump! Jiang Fan's heart felt like it was pierced by a sharp three-edged dagger. The excruciating pain twisted and turned. The elder Zhao, who had once argued fiercely with Wen Hongyao to take him as a disciple. He was dead. Qiu Shengnan cried sorrowfully, her fingers gripping the sword, turning white. "They all died. All of them are dead. Now it's my turn. Jiang Fan, take care of yourselves. You must survive. Don't let Elder Zhao, don't let me die in vain." She wiped her tears forcefully. Turning around resolutely, she charged at Fang Taiji with her sword. At that moment, Fang Taiji had already stopped his injuries. He even managed to reattach his 3 severed fingers using his abnormal physique that had touched the golden body realm. On his blood-stained, aged face, a malevolent aura rolled. "Little beast, I really should have killed you with one palm strike," Fang Taiji said coldly. For many years, he hadn't been injured. Crushing the 9 sect elders was as easy as crushing ants for him. Yet, Jiang Fan had severed 3 of his fingers. It wasn't just his fingers that were severed, but also his lifetime of reputation. He saw Qiu Shengnan charging at him without fear of death. His eyes showed contempt. Raising his foot, he instantly appeared in front of Qiu Shengnan. With a flash of his old hand, he grasped Qiu Shengnan's neck. With just a squeeze, he could break her neck, but he didn't. Instead, he looked at Jiang Fan mockingly. "Do you know how Xiao Wuji died? I killed him. He came at me with his sword, knowing he was certain to die like a fool, just to buy you a chance to escape. So I granted his wish. From several meters away, I effortlessly punched a hole through his body." Crack. Jiang Fan shattered the ice wall with a claw, his eyes already red with rage as he roared. "You deserve to die!" Ha ha ha. Fang Taiji laughed up to the sky. He enjoyed seeing his enemies break down. This was more satisfying than killing them. "By the way, he had a message for you. I'll be merciful and deliver it for him," he said. Halfway through, his expression suddenly turned ferocious and he dropped Qiu Shengnan. With a sudden step, he almost instantly appeared in front of Jiang Fan, laughing grimly. "Heh heh, little beast. Fell for it?" He had been talking to Jiang Fan just to divert his attention, to create this very opportunity. Otherwise, if Jiang Fan slipped away, it would be troublesome to chase him. "Come here, you!" He grabbed Jiang Fan's shoulder with an iron grip. His heart settled, it was done. Having killed the 9 sect elders and captured the 9 sect's rising star. This token of loyalty was enough for him to thrive in the demon race from now on. Even revealing a few critical pieces of military intelligence, he could become as respected as a demon king. But what startled him, Jiang Fan didn't make any move, he just quietly stared at him. Those eyes seemed like the gates of hell, emitting a dreadful coldness. Fang Taiji couldn't help but shiver, shouting, "What are you looking at? Little bastard, dare to break my 3 fingers. I'll gouge out your eyes, crush all your bones, and pull out your tendons one by one. So that you know, no," he suddenly trailed off. A completely scarlet jade talisman fell from Jiang Fan's right hand. The talisman had already been activated. A terrifyingly powerful nascent soul fluctuation rolled out from it, filled with heavenly might, filled with an icy will to obliterate everything. "Nascent soul jade talisman?" Fang Taiji's old eyes widened. A chill ran from his heels to the top of his head. His soul nearly left his body, screaming. He turned and ran, begging as he went. Jiang Fan, Jiang Fan, Jiang Fan, calm down. Listen to me, it's not what you think, let me explain. Jiang Fan raised the jade talisman, using his movement technique to chase after him. His eyes shot out a monstrous killing intent as he roared, I don't want your explanations. I only want you dead. Fang Taiji was scared out of his wits. He mobilized his physical strength to the limit and started running wildly. Each footstep cracked the ice beneath him. Like instant teleportation, he appeared 20 to 30 meters away. Not daring to stop for a moment, he continued to run desperately forward. His heart pounded wildly, terrified beyond measure. The last time he had to run for his life like this, he was a small disciple being hunted by an outer sect elder. He ran for 3 days and nights without stopping, because stopping meant certain death. That nightmarish memory ran through his entire martial path career. Until he became one of the top 5 powerhouses of the human clan, he gradually forgot that nightmare. But now, that memory of being dominated by boundless fear reemerged. Even more terrifying now. He run fast, otherwise he would die. Thump, thump, thump. He bounced and landed in the canyon like a cannonball. As long as he reached concubine Xianxia, he would be saved. However, a faint, almost inaudible sound suddenly came. The jade talisman shattered. The nascent soul strike was unleashed.